Hey everybody, welcome to another show here on the Comic Art Live channel. You get the weekly CAF update, 187th. And I checked, when is the 200th episode of this thing going to be? It's going to be, I think, the second weekend in June. So, or maybe the first week, actually, first Thursday in June. So we got a ways to go. Thought it would have been around the CAF up, the Comic Art Live show in May, but I'm clearly far, far off from that. So, but that makes sense. We didn't start these regular shows until sometime in the summer after that first CA Live event. So, welcome to the show. We've got a lot of segments to go through today. We've got, I think, about 5 videos to play in total. So a lot of different stuff to look at. Some video from Comic Art Con that Anthony shot. I've got a video from Mr. Marcus, who shot some stuff for when Manx was in town hanging out with him. So I think you're all going to enjoy that. And a few other things as well. Another page I love, and gosh, I got a long list of stuff here, but yeah, it's gonna be an interesting show. This will be a 3-hour show, I guarantee you. Not like last week where we were done at 11:30 Eastern last week. So as you know, we're gonna get started with Mr. Leighton, and Joey is in the green room with him as well. They had another interesting week at Drink and Draw. No food samplings that I'm aware of that we're gonna see here, but you know, we're gonna get the full scoop at what happened at Drink and Draw last evening right now.
Hey, Bill and Casra, another adventure at Drink and Draw. I'm here with President MPO, and tonight we have a very special evening, and I'm going to let MPO explain it to you.
So
Loudly.
today the theme is Toriyama Akira. For those who don't know who he is, he's creator of Dragon Ball and Dr. Slump, and he passed away with the room.
Just tragically, yeah. He's only 68 years old, man. I mean, it's like me story.
So today we're gonna celebrate his life.
Yep. We're gonna do Goku and all the various characters from Dragon Ball Z, and I'm sure you guys are gonna look forward to seeing these once they're completed. And remember, again, for those people watching, it's for charity, so if you see anything you really like, let us know and contact Joey, and these drawings are available, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, ready? On with the show, man. All right, we have a whole bunch of new faces. Well, Bimo, you know, but we have a whole bunch of new faces. It's Hannah, she's visiting from Las Vegas. Hi, Hannah. Thank you for coming tonight. And we have another new person here. Can you believe this woman's going to be a mechanic? I love that. But don't panic. It's fine. I told you that we do video for the TV show tomorrow. Okay, so she's like freaking out. No, don't worry. I'm not turning you over to the cops or anything. Okay. And then you got Danny. It's for the podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, the comic art fans podcast that we do every Friday morning, which is Thursday night in the States. Yeah, all right, yeah, okay. You want anyone to buy your artwork ever again, say hi, okay? There you go, all right. And these are the new girls. Hello. They're here for because we do a podcast, like I said, tomorrow morning, which is actually tonight in the States or whatever. So you guys are all new, so you say hi to America. and then of course there's John. Say no more. Say no more.
I was gonna say more, but okay.
All right. Okay, y'all know Danny Kim, right? You're currently doing Ghost Rider, right?
Yep.
All right. You're doing a signing here at Dice and Comics Cafe, aren't you? Yeah.
Next month. Next week. Yeah,
next month, which is next week.
Next week.
Okay, and when is that, Joey, the signing?
It'll be March 24th.
All right, March 24th. You come up here, get stuff by Danny Kim. You guys, they're watching the show. You can send in requests or whatever. Right, Danny? Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great. So,
Hey guys, welcome back to the show.
Another adventure. 186, baby, in the can. Putting it in the can.
In the can. That's exactly where we want it. So, what was your week like? You have a busy one. It sounds like you're dealing with daylight savings time issues over
We
there.
hate daylight savings time. Just Joey and I have to tell you because it was like 2:00 in the morning by the time we wrapped up and got back home or whatever from drink and draw.
Yeah, here we just use up all our daylight.
Yeah, we used up all our daylight. Hey guys, so in case you couldn't hear Impio because he is a very soft-spoken guy. Last night was a tribute to Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball Z. So that's one of the reasons why we had, I think, such a great turnout, right, Joey? Because I mean, most of these people grew up with Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, and they grew up doodling it in their school notebooks and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You can tell a lot of them could draw that stuff blindfolded.
I tried to explain that I was already divorced twice by the time Dragon Ball Z came out. I mean, it's way past my time. So I had to do some research on it, and find out about Akira and Dragon Ball Z, whatever. And I'm looking at Goku, right? That's why you saw the drawing I did, the one and only Bob Leighton drawing of Goku you'll ever see. And I decided, how does he get his hair that way? So I decided to give him dreadlocks, man. In honor of the Bob Marley film coming up. Yeah. So I said, well, yeah, I'm going to give him Nazi dreads, man. And it's like, and it kind of worked actually. So hey, what the hey,
I did some research too because I wanted to know how he did his hair that way, and I made a milkshake that had his hair that way. And so I had a Super Saiyan milkshake and a Spirit Bomb cocktail.
Yeah.
So a lot of those.
Yeah, I think I might keep it on the menu for a little while.
Yeah, they were quite popular last night. As you saw,
Probably after some people post them on Instagram and stuff, I'm going to have people asking for them. So
we had a really great turnout last night, and a lot of new faces, which is wonderful. People forget, Bill, the joy of drawing, even when because as kids we all drew, right? Mm-hmm. Fortunately for a guy like me, 50 years of drawing, I'm still excited about what I do. But I think for the average person, a lot of times they forget how much fun it was just to sit and draw, for relaxation or to express themselves. And this has been a really good drink and draw last night for a lot of newcomers to come and go, oh my God, I forgot how much fun it is just to sit and doodle, and do stuff. And so I think it's very therapeutic on top of everything else, to say the least.
It certainly looks that way, and I don't think we've gotten a photo like that before, where you have everybody checking out everyone's artwork at the end. They probably always do, but that was the first photo I saw in a while.
Yeah, because they're newbies. That's why I took that shot, because they were all kind of like they didn't get a chance to look over each other's shoulders because they were pretty much nose to the grindstone and drinking Joey's milkshakes all night. So it's like, by the time we wrapped up, everybody wanted to see what the other person had done. So that was pretty cool. It was a terrific night, exhausting, but a terrific night, to say the least. And again, it's for charity. So if any of the viewers out there see any of these drawings that they actually want, they can contact Joey at Dyson Comics Cafe. They are for sale, So if you are a Goku fan and you want the only Bob Leighton Goku in existence, that's
with dreadlocks.
And look at what Danny Kim did was just freaking fantastic, man. So.
That was the second one. Oh yeah, little Goku, yeah.
Yeah, so when Danny does his thing next week at Joey's signing, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to do some footage of Danny doing his signing too, because he's a tremendous artist. And this commissions this week. These are things Spencer had me do because this is like his favorite Avengers cover of all time. So I did kind of my version of that or whatever. So
I can't remember that cover for some reason.
Well, it was originally inked by Terry Austin, So I had to really kind of make it a little more organic. I love Terry's work, but as you know, Terry's stuff's a little on the stiff side, so I had to try to loosen it up and
work with the fabric more and stuff like that, you know. So again, but this is one of Spencer's all-time favorite covers. So he had me. I think he's going to keep it for himself.
I was gonna say he better keep that one and put it up on the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? What else did I have there? Oh yeah. This was one of my favorites because you know, that was my first series at Marvel. My first regular series in comics was the Champions. So it was me and John Byrne on the interiors, but it was Dave Crocco, and I played with the colors a little bit because I wanted to make the Stranger a little more sinister. And so I went with a deeper red on his costume, and I also did Herc in my colors, the colors from my Herc series. And so I gave him the armbands and went with the old color scheme and gave him the chainmail too that he didn't have on this. So I made little alterations in it or whatever, but that'll always be near and dear to my heart because, like I said, it was my very first regular comic series.
That came out awesome. Is that one that that they got lined up by Spencer in advance, or does he just have you do?
No, he didn't even. He just said that, you know, you should do some Champions because it's kind of making a comeback in the collector thing. He said you should do that since it was your first regular series. I have a Gil Kane cover that I did with Gil, the only one I ever did with Gil, that I'm going to do next week. So, but yeah, I love doing these color recreations because it gives me a chance to like go back and kind of alter stuff. But I always love this one by Dave, and since he's no longer with us, you know, it's like it falls to me to do the recreation. So, but I always thought this was one of his better covers. And this one I did for one reason. As you probably know, Comic Link auctioned off this. A private collector gave up his copy of his actual original, sold for $84,000, which, of course, I get none of that, by the way.
I was just going to ask you if you had anything worked out, so you get
no. The second they sold it for that much, I get they contact me and was like, "Hey, got any more of those covers laying around?" I'm like, "Of course not." I had to sell them for like $200 just to pay my rent back in those days. You know, people forget that we had to live in the tri-state area. There was no FedEx. There was nothing like that. You had to live within commuting distance of Marvel to work there. So that's the original sold for $84,000, man. And so I said, well, in honor of that, I'm going to just do a recreation. So there's one out there somebody can buy, you know. It was one of my more favorite covers too, just because I think it's very action packed and you know, it has a simple color scheme. But anytime you do a white cover or a black cover, it pops too. So yeah, kind of in honor of the sale of that original, which I think is up on CAF, by the way. I think the guy who bought it is going to post it.
I haven't been able to really pay attention to CAF this past week, so I haven't seen a lot of
business, dude. Anyway, it's kind of crappy when I know more about it than you do. So yeah,
that is very true.
Yeah, so yeah, that was I did that one strictly in honor of the massive sale.
How's that make you feel? You feel proud though, right? That
well, in a way, I mean, yeah, I'm honored that people value it that much, but at the same time, it's like, damn, man, I wish I could get a piece of that, you know? It's like, but you know, at the time, like you said, covers were primo, and there weren't that many collectors out there, and you had to sell them, you know? Most of my covers from the first run are in the hands of 5 guys, and I know which 5 guys they are, you know?
Sure.
So this one turning up out of the blue and going on the auction block surprised me. So yeah, but there it is, nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, I've heard that story numerous times from old artists. They usually will say, and I'm not saying you're old, but you should go ahead and say, they'll always say that the covers were the easiest thing to sell. So, you know, they usually, if they had anything left over, you know, in the by 2000, it was usually interiors because the covers were the ones that
yeah, exactly. Well, also the split was terrible with inkers too. You know, they only gave us 2 pages out of a whole book, 4 if you did breakdown. So I got 4 pages. And I got second pick. So usually, I got the shitty Talking Heads pages. You know, right? You know, but Johnny, look, to his credit, let's talk to JR about JR for a minute, who is my brother from another mother. Johnny and I made a deal early on where we would just I did was I got every third issue. I just took the entire issue and we did it that way. And in spite of Marvel's policy, because it was what's fair. I was working off breakdowns, and so we just traded off books, and that way I would get a whole issue, and it was better. But you had to sell them, man. You couldn't hang on to this stuff. Not to live in New York. It was expensive in the 70s. Imagine what it's like now for those people watching who live there. So wow. There you go. So anyway, that was kind of a tribute to that remarkable sale there. So if you're sitting on one of my old Iron Man covers, you got gold, baby. Joey, we're gonna see some of the art from last night.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. So I just picked some because there was a lot of stuff. A lot of people came.
Yeah, just get the best of them. I don't think you can show them all. I don't think we have that. We'd take
there's a couple of examples. Just show like a lot of people could draw this stuff that weren't. Let me see if I can get this because we had some Dragon Ball and some Dr. Slump that were things that these are not pros, but they grew up drawing this stuff, so we had some.
Yeah, that is Hannah's. I remember it was her very first drawing she done since she was a kid. Yeah. And this was the mechanic lady. Yeah, the young woman is studying to be a mechanic, an automobile mechanic.
I'm just like, trying to get her locked up or something when you were
in Korea, man. Do you get like a pretty woman who wants to be an automobile mechanic?
Tradeswoman.
It's lovely.
And some of our regulars. This is the young man that won the Iron Man sketch contest last summer.
Last September,
yeah.
That's great. That's by what's his face? The friend who doesn't have a name.
Friend. We found out his name. And that's Impio.
Impio,
And then this is John.
Yeah, John always does something bizarre, man.
And this was a new person.
Yeah, the tall girl down there, she's like she was kind of a ringer. She comes in and she can really like knock out a drawing.
Belted that out pretty fast. And then last one I got is Dreadlock Goku.
Yeah, where's Danny's thing?
I thought you had it.
No, I don't have it. I just
what's in the stack?
Screenshot of it.
Okay, I gotta find that.
I just took a screenshot. Danny's is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I tried to clean them up for There's Naughty Dread Goku. Yeah, look at Danny's thing. The dinosaur is just amazing. He's so incredibly talented. And like I said, he's going to be doing a signing there. So I'm going to bring the camera down and we're going to shoot some of what Danny's doing when he does his signings.
I was talking to him about the signing. It's his first like comic signing, and he's a student of Jungie Kim, which Jungie Kim's thing was he gave away sketches all the time, and just like did little doodles and would give them to people. And every book that he signed, he remarked, but he didn't just remark it. It was like a detailed drawing. And his claim to fame was he worked without reference and just drew big sprawling things. But so Daddy's telling me he wants to. He remarked. I gave him some books to sign. He remarked every one of them, and then I was telling him today. I was like, "Well, when we're doing the signing, maybe do one remark per person, and then sign the rest of them because you'll have people coming up with like 10 books." And he's, "No, I think I can do all of them."
That's why I was telling like if he's there and anybody out there wants to get like a quick commission sketch from Danny, we sure you can contact Joey. And because the kid's a hard worker, man. And it's like he's obviously incredibly talented. I mean, look at this thing, and the screenshot doesn't really do it justice because I basically retouched it from a photograph.
And he does draw traditionally, so with I've talked to him a bit about his original art and things, and he has a collective that he's a part of that is called Superani. And they have a big Instagram network and stuff. And so, if anyone is interested in some of his originals for the Ghost Rider series, it is. I don't know how many people are speculating on it, but this is where the Hood becomes Ghost Rider. So I guess it's a new Ghost Rider. So it might be something significant, but he does have pages. Which,
if anybody's interested, you can always reach out to Joey through the Dyson Comics website, or you can shoot me an email and I'll put you in touch with him.
Yeah, and maybe you should have him bring some of those pages to the signing so we can display them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'll have him bring his.
Yeah.
So any Ghost Rider fans out there might be interested in some original art. That's what this show is about, right? You know, it's like the original art. So
I think the originals might look a lot better than the pages. He wasn't happy with the coloring, I guess. So.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that's typical because most of the coloring in comics, the good colorists you can count on the fingers of one hand. But anyway, back to Where in the World is Bob Leighton. We have some travel updates for you.
Okay.
Ziggy finally got back to us, so we're talking to Ziggy now about going to Manila.
Jiggy. You like calling it? It's Jiggy.
Jiggy. Well, I'm sorry, Jiggy Cruz. Yeah.
Oh,
so
wait,
Jiggy,
it's not that chubby cartoon character from the 70s?
Or the one of the Marley kids.
No, Jiggy's got a little bit more hair than that guy.
But anyway, Jiggy got back to us. So we're talking. I think the show in April is a little too soon for Joey and I to make it, but we're talking to him about the September show, going to Manila, so we can take Where in the World is Bob Leighton back on the road. I already talked to my friend Tak in Tokyo, so that trip is on. So I will be heading to Tokyo in May.
Good.
And Spencer's talking to the guys at Osaka, so I may go down to Osaka Con. I think I'll do a signing in Tokyo as well. If I'm going to be there, because it's a good way to write it off on taxes since I have to leave the country anyway. Oh, you're gonna love this. All right, so I'm still trying to get my visa, my resident visa here. All right, so I had my neighbor Nick, who's a law student who speaks Korean, contact my lawyers because I was getting nowhere with them, right? And so they wrote back, and there's a couple like 3 options. You're gonna love this, Bill. One of them is that I have to prove that I'm famous.
Invite him over for one of your live streams.
I gotta get Downey Jr. to call them and like my mother and say, "Hey, yeah, I know the guy, right?" It's like, how do you prove you're famous?
That would be the way to do it. Either just have him record a little video clip, and you can have him.
Well, yeah, I was not get on Cameo and like have him. I don't know, but they literally. It was so dumb. Then they kept saying, well, if he could just get his health insurance and some statement from Marvel, and Nick keeps trying to explain to them, he doesn't work for Marvel. Finally, he explained it this way. Okay, imagine Bob is a character on Friends. All right. And
I know what that
Friends, and he was, as an actor, he was getting paid by NBC when the show was running. Okay. And now the show is in syndication. They all gone on and done other things, but they get paid residuals because they can't understand, because I get royalties for the movies and I get royalties for reprint books. They still think I'm working for Marvel. So he's like having the double time convincing them that I don't work for Marvel. So yeah, it's nuts. I don't fit into any category, so their minds would just explode. So we're still struggling with the whole resident thing, but until then, I have to leave every 90 days. So off to Tokyo we go.
It's gonna be tough. You'll have a good time. It won't be
Tak is another with the Dragon Ball Z animators, so he was part of the Akira Toriyama group. So
he was on like Fist of the North Star, and he worked, I think, with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in some way too. So
we'll have Tak on as a guest star when I go to Tokyo in May. So we're going. We're definitely going to take Where in the World of Bob Leighton back on the road. I have a great idea for the 200th episode too, Bill.
Okay.
What we need to do is have
going to be a surprise.
Put together a clip show of the whole last year of me traveling around the world, just the really weird parts. You
There were
know,
a few of those.
yeah. So Cass, get on it, man. Let's do it best of.
Oh man,
For
I
the
think
200th
Cass was
episode.
around here somewhere. All right. Well, if anybody can make it fun, Bob, it'll be you traveling the world again.
Maybe you know it. But I'm actually, part of me is actually anxious to get back on the road. I'm all settled in here. It's so weird. I feel like Martin Sheen from Apocalypse Now. You know, it's like when I'm home, I want to go away. When I'm away, I want to go home. You know, so it's like, there's just it's strange. So yeah, kind of looking forward to getting back on the road a little bit. But like I said, Joey and I have a blast in Manila because he's got friends down there. And Mike Zeck lives there, so it'll be like a Secret Wars team up. You'll be able to see Mike, and I haven't seen Mike in a decade, so that'll be like a really, really nice too.
That'll be a good WTF Bob Leighton.
Still no word on the movie. They still got stuff out, so that I'm just waiting patiently, trying to get some actor to take millions of dollars to stand in front of a camera. It's really amazing.
I'm sure there's maybe some.
I hate Hollywood, man. I hate actors. I really do. They're just, as Batman says, they are a cowardly and craven lot.
I am certain you'll score one of note soon enough, right?
So next week, Joey, next week's Drink and Draw has a theme as well.
Yeah. So when we had Batman Day at the shop, there's a lot of Nightwing fans in Korea, so they were asking me when I was going to do a Nightwing Day. So Dick Grayson's birthday is next Wednesday, so we'll do a few days of Nightwing things. And there's one thing in Korea where there's with K-pop fandoms, they put up advertisement. They take out ad space in subways and on the sides of buses, saying happy birthday to their favorite like boy group members and stuff. So I had someone make up a type of happy birthday Dick Grayson like ad like that. So I'm gonna I'll probably start posting some of that stuff today.
I suggested we do quesadillas shaped like batarangs.
That might work.
Tell everyone's
Joey's
like putting them on their chest and stuff.
So, interesting drinks too. The Robin and Nightwing related drinks. So it should be a fun. If any of those collectors out there have any, I only did one Nightwing story with Dan Jurgens. You got any pages? Send me some JPEGs of it, so I can pass them on to Joey or send them to Joey, so because I don't even remember the damn thing, and I don't have any comics here, but I know Dan and I did at least one Nightwing story.
I think it was a one-shot Manhunter.
Yeah, he fought Manhunter. Yeah,
Got to be something on Calf.
Well, the one thing, I mean, it's no Cheezosaurus Rex, but the one thing that always surprises Joey is, I did that. I've done everything. It's crazy,
Oh,
like
man.
it's no Cheezosaurus Rex though.
I don't know anything about a Cheezosaurus Rex. I hate to say it.
No. Well, it's the most expensive comic that I ever did. It goes a CGC in good and perfect condition goes for about $900.
No.
Yeah,
It's
it's crazy. It was a Kraft Foods commercial comic that we did at Valiant, and it's like it's apparently the most valuable Bob Leighton comic you can get, more than Demon in a Bottle,
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Rick
stupid.
Balch's idea is good. Nighthawk Wings sound like
Yeah.
advertising for
Night Hot Wings. That's not a bad idea. Not at all. Anyway, so what's on the show today, Bill?
interview with Dave Kopecki coming up next, and then some videos. I got a package to open. I got lots of stuff to talk about. So busy night, Bob. So
All right.
I should probably get moving, but enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be looking forward to seeing the video for next week.
Yeah, I already talked.
Fingers crossed you get your actor or hired by that time.
God, I hope so, man. I hope that I'm afraid this is going to be dedicated to the late Bob Leighton by the time they get this movie out.
Or you may have to be the lead, or maybe you're going to have to find a Korean K-pop star to handle it for you. I don't know.
It's something else, man. But yeah, anyway, so we'll see you next week. All right. Thanks for having us on, as always, man. Thank you, and thank you, Kasra, and thank you, Joy. I'll see you later this week.
All right, gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of the day. All right. Yes. So that answers the immortal question of where in the world is Bob Leighton? He's still in Seoul, but he's on his way to Tokyo and many other destinations. And Ziggy, I'm gonna have to email Ziggy after the show. But all right, so like I said, we got a lot going on here, and a gentleman that we haven't had on the channel in quite some time. But if you went to OAX, you would have seen him there. So Mr. Dave Kopecki is joining me this evening. Hey, Dave, how are you?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
I cannot complain. Looks like you have. Is there new artwork on the wall? I mean, it doesn't look quite the same.
No, I think I may have moved stuff around, but it's all been on there for a while.
Okay. Now that you might as well just get it out of the way. You had a good time at OAX, right?
Yeah, no, I had a blast at OAX. It was definitely the most fun I've ever had at a show. So.
Well, you definitely walked away with more art than I think anybody else did. I remember you posted it on one of the Facebook groups, and it was like 29 pieces of art.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty impressive.
It was a lot of deal digging. I did some trading with Anthony. Basically hit up Amanda, Connor, and Jimmy had $75 pages, so I just bought a bunch of those. So it was like very reasonably priced. I came home with money, which doesn't usually happen. So that was interesting.
Came home with money and art. Now
a lot of art.
That is not the story any collector is used to having. But that's awesome, man.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Looking forward to next year. So as soon as tickets go on sale, I'll be there again.
Well, we're definitely, I can't say when it's going to happen because we haven't picked a date yet, but it'll be within the next 30 days, I think, when we'll start it, and we will announce it exclusively to the first-year ticket holders first. So, which is as it should be. You guys help fund and make the first year possible for us. So we're going to start there. Same thing with the exhibitors, and then kind of work our way out from there. But give everybody who went last year the opportunity to get back in. Before everybody who was just thinking about coming to OAX. So.
Yeah. There were a lot of people that were thinking about it and were like, well, let's see how it goes. And now they're all, I don't know, a little jealous, I think. We came back and everybody was just, oh, it's so great. It was the most awesome thing we've ever done. And everybody's like, damn, I should have gone.
Well, that's that's what we wanted to have happen. You couldn't predict it, but it certainly was the outcome. But that's awesome, I think. But I do hope that most everybody who was there in year one plans on going year two, right? I mean, we'll have, that's like 500 tickets sold, right away. And then I don't know what our cap will be, but it certainly won't be double what it was in year one. Yeah. So I don't think we're gonna have a problem selling out early, but it's kind of cool. We have everything set up with the hotel, so I'll be able to have the link for the hotel soon, and we're working our way through trying to figure out which guests we want to invite back and stuff. So it's the fun moment with all of this. Yeah. But hey, so we're not here to talk about OAX. We're here to talk about you and your Kickstarter that's starting in 2 days. Is that true?
Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Okay. Should we play the video to kind of, warm everybody up to the concept?
If we could, that'd be good. Okay. That would set it up, I think.
Cool. Let me go ahead and do that. Here we go. So rumor has it you played guitar for that. Is that true?
No, but I do have access to a website with copyright royalty-free music, so I can get away with stuff like that.
Well, so clearly there's an element of sci-fi and fantasy in this. So tell us a bit about it and how long has it been gestating?
Actually, ironically, I wrote the short story for this when I was, I want to say 12, 13 maybe. I used to write a lot of short stories. I had a little typewriter and I would type up these 2-3 page single spaced short stories, submit them to like magazines and stuff. And so this was a story originally created at about 12 or 13. We were going to be published when I was about 15, 16. Local comic book store owner published his own stuff. And so I started working with my brother, developing him as an artist. And then we found out we just couldn't work together. And I think I talked on this a little bit in my previous interview, but I was a little controlling. He won't be controlled. We were two opposing forces, so it didn't work out. In 2010, I found an artist, started paying him, started doing this project, promoting it on Facebook. Then he found tattooing, and that pays a lot more money. So for a side hustle, tattooing paid him better. So I got about 6 pages out of him before he moved on. And so it sat in a drawer for a long time. I've been working with Amaral Entertainment, Kevin Alsop. He does the Cave Woman books with Bud Root and Devin Massey. Eventually he gave us an imprint. So Amaral Dark is me and my brother and most of the people that are on this book with me. So we do our own version of Cave Woman and all the London Night universe, the Razor character and all those bad girls from the 90s that the properties have just been kind of languishing. Nobody's done anything with it. Our publishers owned it since early 2000s, but never published it. So we were brought in to kind of relaunch that. And so we got to a point where we're ready to do the Razor book. We'd done the Cave Woman book, setting up the shared universe, and we'd done some other stuff. And it basically just worked out to where we got put on hiatus for about the last year or so. So we all went and started doing our own projects, and I decided to pull this out the drawer and really just try to make a go at it with full-on professional artists, colorists, everybody, so that I'm not going to lose them to tattooing or something silly. So everybody's a comics person that worked on it.
Well, that's cool. So that's a long time for you to kind of keep this thing, out there.
Yeah.
And obviously you're not doing this full time. So how are you, you're just managing this all in the evenings and weekends and.
Yeah. Comics have just been the side hustle. You don't get rich off of it in my level. It's for love of the game. It's not about getting rich. So for the most part, I've just been working in indie books and Kickstarter campaign books for, I don't know, about 7 years now. With various people, and then the publisher, I do all their campaigns, so I build and sell all of them. So this is all 9 of the standard covers. We did a lot of variants. The top 6 were the people that I either already work with or have a lot of art from them in my collection. So just kind of, I'll name them off. But so Alf McCall is our primary artist. He's the top left corner, cover A. He lives in Mexico. He's Mexican, but he's mostly been published in French and Mexican comic books. So he hasn't been published in the US yet. This is his US comics debut. So the second one over is Andrew Mangum, my little brother. And so he's my partner basically at Amaral Dark. And then the third one over there is Rob Doria. He's a friend of mine that I used to rep when I was an art rep, I don't know, 8 to 10 years ago. He was somebody that I sold stuff for. So he just contributes to all of my campaigns, does a cover or a pinup whenever we ask. And most of these are favors rather than I didn't have to pay them to do them. So then the next one here is Nick Nix. He's a professional inker, illustrator, but he doesn't get to illustrate often. So he does a lot of covers for me and things just out of friendship and just to be part of something fun. The next one over in the middle is Gabriel Mangum, my nephew. so Andrew's son. They do a lot of shows. They're pretty well known in Texas, in the Dallas area. They do a lot of the shows as guests and stuff like that. And then the painted cover, you got to have a painted barbarian cover if you're going to do a barbarian book. That's just the way I see it. And so Manu Silva, he's a Brazilian artist that I've been buying from for probably 5 or 6 years now. He's gotten a lot better over time. And at this point, he's just firing on all cylinders. Very good painting style. Looks really great. And then this bottom row, these were all just people reached out to me. They saw the campaign promos that I was doing. I created a Facebook page and I've just been plastering stuff all over that and then sharing it all over the place. So Les White, who used to do, he was a professional comic artist in the late 80s, early 90s, and then he went into, I don't know, video game design or something else like many of them did. But he and I are in the Wildstorm group, the fan group in Facebook, and we've talked about our love of Nick Manabat, who drew Cybernary on the back of Deathblow back in the day. He died at the age of 23. Very little work of his out there. One of the projects we did in the Wildstorm group is an artifact edition of Nick's work, and we managed to find pretty much everything that he ever got published and did a book. And then after that book, we decided we wanted to do a homage cover to that kind of cyberpunk, cyber look. So the face of the general here, it has a very interesting look. And then Les did his own title design as well, so that it kind of has that neon light look of the Cybernary cover. And then the middle cover there, there's a guy I met at a con years ago named Ben Ferrari. He's an independent guy, does a lot of Kickstarters. I met him at Big Wow, I don't know, 2012, 2013, something like that. And he's got his own little studio and his own little indie label. And he reached out to me and asked, hey, can I do a cover or pinup for you? I'm not going to say no. And so he gave me this. It's a kind of a homage to Conan number 90. Big John Buscema cover that had some monster in a cave doing that weird finger thing. Right. So his was kind of a homage to Conan. Les is a homage to Nick Manabat. Manu's is just painted barbarian cover. So we had to have those three kind of tropes. And then the last one, Rob Doria again, who did cover C. He just really liked the other idea he had. So he's like, here's a second cover also for free. And so I decided to make that the incentive cover. So the only way to get it is to buy the cover set bundles. So if you buy the color cover set, you get all 9 books for, I think it's $150. There's no shipping charged on anything. I just factored a little shipping into all the products. So what you see is what you get. The price is the price. It's not going to, at the end, ask you for $50 more to ship it to you or anything like that. So I'm really hoping to promote people buying the bundles. And so doing an incentive cover, something nice that'll be rare, can help. I've been doing Kickstarters for a while, so it's all about the stretch goal goodies, the cool freebies that you can give people, and things like an incentive cover or a specialty book, things like that. So,
right. No, that's the way to go. Unfortunately, you have a lot of people who are supportive of the project for you. That definitely makes it a little bit easier and takes some of the some of the concerning financial things off your back, so you can kind of be a little bit more focus on the Kickstarter promotion itself. So
exactly. And so we have Dan Kemp on colors. He did like 100 issues of Spawn back in the 90s. He did J. Scott Campbell's Amazing Spider-Man run. He did Quesada's Wolverine Origins run. Very, very awesome colorist. So the colors pop a lot more than what I'm used to in the indie scene. So in making friends with them and some of the previous projects we've done together, I was able to pull together a really great art team. So this whole story just boils down to there's a kind of a village, if you want to call it that, out in the wasteland. So the world is basically an irradiated wasteland. Almost all life ended centuries ago. There's underground cities built under mountains and things like that that house people. And these suits called cybernetics hardware are thought-controlled suits that basically take the radiation energy in the air and convert it to matter. It's kind of a almost Star Trek-y replicator, transporter kind of a thing. But essentially, it can turn the energy into organic steel and then back to nothing, back to energy. So it's kind of barbarians with tech. The sorcery is technology they don't understand. Nobody really understands it anymore because the smart people were wiped out when only the strong survive kind of becomes the mantra. So out in the wastelands, you have people that just survived, just whatever, mutated or evolved, just like all the animals and the wildlife and things like that. So the warriors from the city who are protected come out in their suits. Daytime is just super hot, scorched earth. So all the attacks come at night, usually on a full moon when visibility is a little higher. So this is the night of a full moon. The raiders attack this small village. The guy exploding through the air here is our main hero. And basically he's our gateway to the story. We follow him from waking up under attack to what happens throughout the story. So here we just basically, this is the son of the clan leader, essentially. So I don't want to call him a king, but basically he's third in charge. He has an older brother, and his dad and his brother just went off to go fight. His job is to work with the girl and get the children to safety. Because they raid these villages mostly for children and women, and they'll kill pretty much all the men. So they're just after what's useful to them. So he runs up. There's one of the battle beasts. So all the beasts of this world are mutated. Are they cats? Are they dogs? Are they wolves? Are they lions? I don't know. We don't care. They put them in armor, so they're very hard to kill. They're super dangerous. The only way to kill them is like through their face. Because it's the only unarmored part. So that's kind of just showcasing his skill with a sword, and that kind of a thing. We can go on to the next one. So this is basically him just telling them, get the kids out of here. I'll take care of this hero stuff, standing on it while you pull your sword out of it. Just barbarian tropes.
Of course.
I'm really into a lot of that. And so he's never been in a suit. He has no experience with the suit. His dad and his brother had the only 2 suits in the village, so they went to fight. But we're establishing that he is very capable even without having a suit, just with him and a sword. And so this is just the kids getting away, climbing down their special hidden rope down into a hidden cave kind of thing. And then he runs back to town after he made sure they're okay. And he wants to help his dad and his brother, and boom, like there's his brother dead on the ground. Dad's fighting the big bad guy in the background there. And that's his dad versus the big bad guy. So our evil general is the big guy there. He's like 7 feet tall, just like in a world of only the strong survive, he is the strongest. And he runs with an iron fist, and he doesn't really care about the sanctity of life.
No, he doesn't look like a guy who cares about much.
Yeah.
He's taking an arm off in this one too.
Yeah, so basically the suits can form blades and solid metal weapons and things, but they're not going to be as accurate as a sword. So they still have swords. They still carry swords. But here's an example of, with a thought in the middle of the battle, he's able to flex an arm blade out and use it to literally just cut that dude's arm off. So, but yeah, it's a fun story. I think that's the last of it. That's just the first half. The last half is where all the main action is, with the main character, all the bad guys, all of that. So that's kind of all that I've really shown publicly otherwise, because you don't want to give away everything. But it's a fun story. I think people will really like it. The art is a lot of fun, and kind of that's why I wanted to come on here and kind of pitch it. Is as an art collector myself, I'm very focused on the art rewards. So we're going to be selling 5 of the covers. So this is the ash can cover. It'll also be used as a colored pinup in the books. If we reach that stretch goal, I add 4 pages. Rob has put both of his covers up, so that's cover C, and then the incentive cover is next. And well, normally that one's
Sorry.
Nick Nix's cover. No worries.
That was the order it dropped in.
Nick Nix, like I said, he's my San Diego Comic-Con buddy. So we do a lot of cons together, and he has been doing covers for me for the past few years now on anything that I ask. So, but I love the detail of his. He went a little more crazy than everybody else did, as far as that goes. So this one, Ben Ferrari penciled it. His partner at the studio, Kurt Belcher, also does the illustrating, I guess. And they, after all their years working together, he had never inked over Ben. So Ben did kind of a rough 11 by 17 pencils and gave it to Kurt, and Kurt just turned it out, and it looks great. And then they had their own colorist too. So it's the only cover not colored by Dan. So it's a guy out in the Philippines. And then that's Rob's incentive cover, basically. So we have 5 of the covers, which is nice. Normally you maybe get 1 or 2 in a campaign. I have a lot of covers, so I'm happy to help sell the art for the artists. We're going to be doing mystery sketches, which is a relatively new thing, but you guys have popularized it well. People seem to like it. Yeah. We're keeping it cheap. They're $100, and that includes shipping and packaging and everything. So it's one of our lesser things. These are, we have character design sheets that the artist did up just so people can reference and see what the characters look like. This is 3 separate individual pieces. They're going to be $65 each. That includes shipping and all that good stuff. Some of them have more sketches on them than others, but they're all pretty tight, reasonably well done sketch layouts. And then we have the main character. So this is Mara, our female hero. And basically they're 8.5 by 11 boards taped together on the back. So it is an 11 by 17 page total, but it does fold because it's 2 separate 8.5 by 11 boards. But these are what all of the artists worked off of so that they can get the accurate look for the characters. And then this is our hero, Waylon. And so he's the kid that somehow is good enough with the sword to survive a crazy night. So very, very detailed drawings, really kind of to just show off the costumes and the look and the overall appearance of all the characters. So those will be available in the campaign. We're probably going to offer sketch cover commissions because I always do blank sketch covers for all of my stuff. And then, of course, interior pages. We're offering 12 of the 24 pages. So there's going to be 2 double page spreads and a bunch of just single pagers. So again, the pulling the sword out and the detail that Alf puts into these pages is insane. He is slow, much slower than I would like for being able to do this consistently, but we'll work on that. But great use of blacks, very heavy use of blacks, which my colorist sometimes complains about, but that is the art style that I wanted. So he's doing what he was told. But yeah, you can just see these are the pages that we went through in the story, and then we'll start to show other pages.
So these will all be add-ons that people can purchase? Yes.
Yep. So there'll be pledge levels for anything published. There'll be add-ons for anything not published, commissions, sketches, mystery sketches. So, but here we just have more of the battle with the general and the guy after he got his arm cut off. And I think there's a few page sequence here that he included, like 4 straight pages. So you see the general uses a blade on his knee and out of his elbow to basically just eviscerate that guy. And Waylon sees it, tears off, runs back to check on the girl. She's being accosted. So he does the only thing he can do, just run up on the guy, kick him square in the chest and launch him off the edge of the cliff. So
That's what we'd all do.
Yeah, I mean, what else can you do? And here he's just telling her to get out of here, and then running like a psychotic maniac at those guys with his sword in the air. And so that's just kind of the pages that we get through here. This double page spread, he had just knocked a guy down off the cliff, and as he looks over the cliff, somebody comes up behind him and manages to disarm him with one of those hook swords that has just that weird little hook on it. And I think there might be one more page after this. Yeah. So this is actually just a sideways splash. We're so into 90s books, me and this artist. So there's 3 splash pages, 3 double page spreads, and then the interior pages have various things. But he wanted to do a sideways splash. I was like, okay. This is at the end of the book. They have rounded up all the slaves and captives that they can, basically anyone that's not killed at the village. And they pull them with these giant lizards. They're slow, but they're strong. Mutant lizards, mutant dog, cat things. Like it's just a weird world. I grew up on like Thundar the Barbarian and Kroll and He-Man and Highlander films, and even that awful Patrick Swayze Steel Dawn movie with swords and wastelands and all that stuff. So very much a product of growing up in the 80s, but the comic is very 90s. The way that we do our stuff is very reminiscent of the good old days. Lots of splashy action, no 9-panel grids. You don't want to bore people to tears. Show, don't tell, all of that fun stuff.
Sure.
So
now the link for the Kickstarter, at least the preview, is in the show description on YouTube.
Okay.
So anybody who is on the in the chat right now, you can head over to the site and get some set yourself up for an alert for when it goes live. Right, that's the easiest way.
Yeah. So pre-launch has been up for a little while. Launching on Saturday. Really surprised that I've gotten pretty good response, I guess you'd say, on Facebook and from different people, but still nervous as hell because this one is entirely my project, entirely my book, entirely my fault if it fails. There's nothing to fall back on. I've been self-funding this for basically since about May of last year. So it's why I haven't been able to buy as much art. A lot more trading, if anything, has been going on. OAX I managed to pull together a few $1,000s at the last minute. I didn't think I was coming with much of anything, so that worked out well. And I brought all the art from this book with me and showed it off. So a few people there got to flip through and see all the artwork to this book. So it was a lot of fun. I had planned to talk to you there, but you were always so busy every time I saw you, and I didn't want to bog you down with anything else. Yeah, so
that was it.
It was like every now and again I'd see you walk by and I'd be like, oh, he looks busy. You were just constly back and forth out of the room. And
it's not going to be that way next year. I can tell you that. But yeah, no, I would have liked to have seen it. That would have been cool, man. Well, I know what, I've done a few Kickstarters myself now too, so I know what all of that's like, and it's a lot of work, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I have one going right now for Kevin for his Cave Woman, because the 30-year anniversary of Cave Woman as of December of last year. So this whole year is 30 years of Cave Woman. So we were supposed to release his Kickstarter and launch it in December, then January, then February. He launched it on March 2nd. Mine's been marked on the calendar since, I don't know, last summer for middle of March. So I'm going to be running 2 concurrent Kickstarter campaigns, essentially. His is doing well, so I'm going to hand it off to him, I think, a little bit if mine gets very busy. But yeah, Kickstarter, it's a lot of work. It keeps you very occupied for a while. I'll be happy to be done with these 2, although I have another Kickstarter that I'll be doing for my nephew's book probably in about 3 months. So I've got a lot of Kickstarters ahead of me, and then I have my own book, and then I have the books that I'm working on. So it's a lot of hustle in a lot of my spare time, but I'm at a point where my kids are adults now, and it's not so much about little kids running around taking care of everything that you need to take care of. It's
Right.
everybody kind of does their own thing, and I'm alone in the family room a lot of the time in the evenings. So I'm just on the computer building a campaign, designing product, putting together fun stuff. So my campaign, it'll have embroidered hats, it'll have t-shirts, it'll have metal prints, regular prints, trading cards. I paid the artist to do custom trading cards. So the only problem is we launch day after tomorrow, and he's only drawn a couple of them. So they're probably not going to be right there at launch, but I try to keep it fun. I try to keep my Kickstarters to where it's stuff I would enjoy getting, and as a backer myself, because I do a lot of Kickstarter backing as well. But being a creator on Kickstarter it's rewarding. We've always done very well there. This is just the first time I've done one that's not going to be characters that already existed, already have a fan base. So this one is a little scarier in that regard. But everybody else has been paid. I paid everybody, like I said, self-funded. So if it crashes and burns, I'm the only one that burns. Everybody else is taken care of. Hopefully, at the very least, I'll make enough money to just fund the next issue. I'm not really looking to get paid back. This was the investment you always got to put into something if you want to make a go of it. So this was the investment I put in. I will say producing a comic book is way more expensive than I would have thought it was. Even not paying people full on like market rate, even getting discounts because we're friends or whatever, it's still so much money to fund a comic book. I was just really surprised by that. And I guess that's why a lot of indie is just black and white.
Right. That's true.
Color
Cheaper to
costs
print.
almost as much as the pen and ink. So, but yeah, I really appreciate you letting me come on and kind of put this out there to the community and everything. This, like I said, this one's personal. This one's 30-something years in the making, and it's finally done. It's finally, you're going to release your baby to the world, and you just hope people show up.
Do you have a delivery date set for when you expect everything in hand to be able to start shipping?
Yeah, so I have the book. We're finishing the lettering now, but everything's pretty much done. So at this point, all I have to do is run the campaign and then place the order. I give myself 6 months to ship, but honestly, it probably will be, you run a campaign and then you got like 30 days or so of the surveys, and then you get your final count. And then it takes a couple of months to get your order from the printer. So 4 to 6 months is like a safe zone, but I give myself 6 months to do it. Ideally, I'd like to do the comics quick enough to do 2 a year, because no artist that I've come across is able to do a comic more than, I don't know, twice a year, maybe. A lot of them have day jobs, and again, you're in it for love of the game, not because you're going to get rich. And for me as a writer and an editor, there's a lot of work involved, but it's busy work. It's stuff I can do while doing other things and multitask. They got to sit down and draw for just hours upon hours. So I try to be respectful of their time, respectful of the process, and make sure that, like I do in my day job, that I'm the kind of boss that people want. I'm the kind of boss that I would want if I was, I've never had one of those bosses, but I've always wished that I had one of those
supposed
bosses.
to say that.
But yeah, no, it's fun. It's doing comics is a lot of fun, but the art is what I'm always about. And so I ended up buying a lot of the art from the artist, some of the covers from some of the other guys. There's stuff I'm going to just be keeping as a collector. The first appearance pages of key characters, things like that. I
have those.
Yeah. So I always hold on to that stuff. And I have at least 1 or 2 covers from every book I've ever worked on. Whether I buy them or sometimes my brother will gift me one of the covers, because he usually does 3 for any Emerald Dark book. We have like 8 or 9 covers, and 3 of them are by Andrew. So he'll usually give me one of those, and then when he needs money or something, I'll buy one or two more. And so I've got a pretty good stack of Emerald and Emerald Dark art, and now I'm going to start building my Shadow Dance Entertainment art because that's my personal label. So yeah, things are looking up. Things are a lot of fun. I'm very excited for Saturday, but also terrified. So,
well, it's you know, it makes me happy to be able to support one of our own. You know, you've been a member of CAF for many years and supported a lot of the stuff that we do. So I'm happy to throw some time your way here. And if you got any, you know, press releases during the course of the campaign, feel free to send them over to me, and I can make sure we get them on CAF as well. So happy to do that for you, Dave.
Awesome. I really appreciate it, Bill, and thank you everybody for putting up with me and listening to all that.
Hey, not a problem. And yeah, best of luck Saturday morning. Don't go gray over it.
I'll try not. Yeah, hopefully.
All right, Dave. Have a good night, man.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya. All right. So, like I said, the link to Dave's campaign is in the show description. So just head on over there and set up the reminder to follow the crowdfunding campaign over there, and you'll get a alert on Saturday morning. Well, depending on where you're at. 9 a.m. Pacific time is when it's going to launch. So best of luck to Dave on that. It's always a little stressful, the first one. And I saw it for looking at his profile. He's backed 75, started none. So he's clearly somebody who believes in crowdfunding and supporting other creators. And now he's venturing off on his own. And yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like a 30-year project too, in its own way. So hey, so we've got a lot more things to talk about tonight. I do have a video from Comic Art Con that Anthony gave me. It was a little longer than 10 minutes, so I had to edit it down a bit. I did get a photo from Dino last week that I had forgotten to show when he sent it in, but just it should make Jason D'Ambrosia happy. I saw he had taken a nap during the beginning of the show apparently, but he's awake now, and I'm sure he's seeing that we've got his photograph on screen in his svelte, form there, along with Mr. Dan Poddick and Dino and our own Fish Benz with a question mark on his shirt. Not often. We usually just see him in his all black garb, like he's a goth. But he really isn't. He's one of the happy guys in our hobby. And I can see Sharon in the background. And who else are back there? I can't tell the other exhibitors. But at any rate, that was Comic Art Con was the Sunday before last. And I think I was at a new location. And I think everybody who went had a fairly good time. But like I mentioned, Anthony did shoot a little bit of video. He shot it all vertically. But so I got to format it for our show. I edited out a bit of it. But I'll post the video in its entirety on the channel over the next few days, but you can take a look at the about a 7-minute clip from the show.
Well, we're really lucky that it rained all day yesterday, but look at this day we have today for the Comic Art Con and the new location out here in Whippany.
I made it 65 because I'm 65.
This is the most beautiful piece of art here.
Got some crafts, but it's like
Hey Rich, we're at Comic Art Con. What'd you get?
Looks like it's a t-shirt design production art. Yay!
Yay! T-shirt design production art. 3 of them.
Cool.
Yeah. And a dueling Heroes of Comic Book Art claim. J-Dam at the Comic Art Con. Look at him. Look at him. He's got his whole available inventory right on his back. J-Dam, how was your Comic Art Con?
It was great. I made a couple trades. I made some sales. Perfect show.
Yay. Thank you, J-Dam. All right. I love your shirt. Hey, Jim Morton. How was your show?
The show was fantastic, Anthony. Thank you.
Yeah, you seem busy. You got crowded early on.
I did.
Yeah, everybody looking for some new John Byrne stuff or Matt Wagner?
Matt Wagner, John Byrne, Salvador Roca, you name it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, and I even sold some Walt Kelly Pogo stuff today.
You sold Walt Kelly? I thought you only bought Walt Kelly.
I've sold on occasion. So
All
today was
right.
the occasion.
I have a couple strips at home. Maybe you'd like. I'll send you pictures.
That sounds good. Maybe I'll see you at the 21st, right? You're gonna be there?
So how's John Byrne doing? You saw him on your way down?
We saw him, well, we went up to his place, yeah. Spent the day yesterday, he's doing good.
And
Not drawn.
this is special. This is a special person right here. Look. This is the only guy John Byrne lets in his house.
There's a reason for that, Anthony.
If he closes the door.
Right?
Let's go that one.
Not necessarily, but yeah,
All right.
he's selective.
Yeah, he's selective. All right.
I've been doing it for 30 years, so you know.
That's awesome, Jim.
Thanks, Anthony.
Okay. It's we got some business to finish up here, so
Yes, sir.
you know, end of the show deal here. And see you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, we had such a great time today at the New Jersey Art Con. Great to see incredibly passionate collectors come by the booth, talk to us about all the amazing artwork that's coming up in the event auction, as well as my comic book.
Yeah,
The
your
Addiction.
comic book. Give us the elevator pitch of your comic book.
The Addiction at its core is about second chances. Dr. Nikki Tino has been fighting drug addiction her whole adult life. She's gotten so good at it that the local mafia has deemed her bad for business. They put a hit out on her. They're going to kidnap her, shoot her up with a cocktail of designer drugs and leave her for dead. They do just that, and she does die. But later, the chemicals mixed with the blood in her body bring her back to life, give her a second chance at life, and an uncanny ability. From her slightest touch, she can inject any type of drug into a person's body, and thus begins the adventures of the Addiction.
Cool. So I hope that's doing well for you. You
It's
got
doing
some
great.
signed
We did-
copies.
yeah, we
by,
did the movie pitch.
artist. Oh, I mean, you got an art germ cover. That's cool. I love art germ.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we
so-
have the movie pitch deck is out already.
The what?
The movie pitch deck is out already.
The movie pitch
deck. We put a pitch deck out for a movie.
I don't know what a pitch deck is.
It's how you sell the movie. You tell them this is what the story's about.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you got any response from that?
Yeah, yeah. We get a very serious interested party.
Yeah,
So
cool.
We'll see. We'll see.
Like a streaming service?
No, it's
Netflixy
a
or?
production to go into movie theaters around the world.
Wow!
We'll see.
Congratulations!
It's very early on, but it's a nice way to start.
Yay!
And number 2 is
Good
coming
for
out
you,
real
Vinny.
soon.
I wish you all the success.
Thanks, Anthony.
All righty.
All right.
Bye. Hey, fellow collectors, I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art, and I'm coming to you from the end of the Comic Art Con in New Jersey, the spring edition. So, it turned out pretty good. We're pretty pleased with how things went today, and this is what we were offering. Like, let's do a pan and scan of the setup. Show the art. Show this art.
You know what? Don't. Let's just do it. Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a nice page.
And pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Here we have another wall of art. We've got a Ghost Rider, Gil Kane, Conan, Kirby. Oh, look at that Kirby, Forever People. Ramona Fraden, Super Friends. I should probably price that up. That Supergirl and Zatanna, World's Finest Black Lightning. Thorn Red Sonja. Oh, such good stuff. The general inventory and the general son. Nah, not a general yet. He's like a corporal. And then we have some color things. I got an Esad and a coloring book and a Frank Cho big cover. Look at that. And then look what we have here. The best piece of art in the room, the Sharona. Yay, I love the Sharona. And look, I brought comic books today, and I sold the Batman 4. That's cool. Look, Sharon, how was your art con?
Wonderful. Everybody was so nice. Perfect size show. Did a lot of good business. It was awesome.
Agreed.
You're good business. You're the best. Anyway, so, yeah, I made that happen in my life, and I'm very grateful for it. Thank you, God. Anyway, so I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art. I'm coming to you from the ArtCon Spring Edition, and it was totally worth doing. So, if you're in the area and want to come see us, well, we're... What cackle? Look at that cackle. We got the puppy, and we got Sharon. Look at that Sharon self-portrait, and then she drew me. See, look, I actually look nice there. And a happy face. And that's the spinning wheel. Oh, it landed on Weird Sharon.
Yeah, we're sharing.
Weird Sharon. So if you're in the area, stay in touch with the website or come by the warehouse where I have all my inventory every day in Moonachie, New Jersey. I'm Anthony with Anthony's Comic Book Art, and we will see you in the chat.
See you in the chat. Yes. And our chat is here with us right now, of course. So I actually met somebody who knew where Moonachie is, or whatever, however it's pronounced. He was cutting my masonite for me yesterday, and he was from Union City, New Jersey. Some 70-year-old retiree down here in Florida, still working at Home Depot. But all right, well, we can get into the schedule now. I've got a few new things here to talk about, and then I've actually got a package to open up from Anthony Snyder. I think it's a shirt. But let's see here. What do we got? We've got a sales show this weekend with Dexter Vines. Next week, we've got Larry hosting another collector conversation. Last week I didn't have any shows on the 19th, that next Tuesday, and now I've got a preview with Joe because he's going out of the country. So I've got to do a heritage preview with him. I've got Jerry Bourne at 9. Got a make-offer show with Berkey on Wednesday. Then I've got 2 sales shows on Saturday. Brian Hitch at 2 p.m. Eastern, and then we'll have Next Comic Art on at 9 p.m. That will be the only appearance of Next Comic Art on the channel sales-wise until we have the May Comic Art Live on the 11th and 12th. So we haven't have Jiggy on and his team for a little while. We took a break during OAX, so we'll have them back on next Saturday. And Josh Middleton will be on with me the Tuesday after that. Got Tim Seeley on the following Saturday. I've got Andrew G with Dinesh and Zatari on the 2nd. And I know I've got the dates still wrong on that thing with Jared Simmons. He's really going to be on the 9th. But what else we got there? We got an ADD match with Tatiana and Matt on the 3rd of April, which should be fun. And we've got Sarah Jane Blum from Heritage Illustrations. He's the director of illustration at Heritage, newly hired. She used to work with Grapefruit Moon Gallery out in California. They have ran a regular, an eBay storefront that I followed. So she's working with Heritage now. So I'll be doing an interview with her. Probably like half of the interview will, or the show will be just us talking about her and her collecting. And then we'll spend about half of the chat devoted to an upcoming illustration auction that I believe ends either late April or really, really early in May. I think it's late April. Then I've got Mike Oming on in April as well, Jamal Eigel in June. And then, of course, we have the Spring Comic Art Live, which will be the weekend of May 11th and 12th. That's our ninth Comic Art Live virtual con. So that's the upcoming schedule. Got some holes in there to fill with some interviews and stuff, but by and large, pretty booked for the next 4 to 6 weeks, which is always good. Now, package to open. I think I got this on Friday, so it's been sitting around the office for a week, waiting to be opened. Let's see here. What do we got? Let's see. I've got. I think I've got a few of these, but I have a sketch card from the Dueling Dealers, and then I've got a shirt that has Anthony, Mike, and Sharon on it from OAX, which is going to be kind of reflective. You're not going to be able to see it too well. But I guess, I don't know. Why did you print Mike on a shirt, Anthony? Because I'm going to wear it. I can't say that makes sense, but there it is. Maybe we need a mannequin in the back, and I can start putting T-shirts on it every week. But thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. I think Anthony has a new T-shirt printer or something. And he only sent me one Dueling Dealers pasty. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. For all occasions. No, I can wear the pasties whenever I want. I mean, I've got a whole. There's like 8 of them here. Jeez. All right. Well, thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll. Yes, it was fun. It was a very good picture. Bill, am I doing a preview of the Vines artwork? I thought I showed it off last week, didn't I? Remember, I did an unboxing of Dexter's art. I've got it right over here in my brand new storage thing. Let's see what we got. I can show it to you once more. I know that we have some art from the last sale show that didn't sell, so I've got, or maybe this. Wait, this is the stuff from the last one. Where's the new stuff? This is the new stack right here. There we go. Got a page from Heretic that is pretty cool. We haven't, Heretic, I think was only like a 3-issue run, so that's out there. I've got a Buffy cover. I've got something from The Ride, which is penciled by Rick Leonardi. Mandalorian page, George Genti with Dex's inks. I got a Weapon X page, issue 12. What do we got? Pacheco, Ultimate Thor. Got a Power Girl page. I think this Genti too. I can't remember. I'll have to double check. Then I have a Jason Pearson Deadpool page. Another Ultimate Thor by Pacheco. We got a Hal Jordan Green Lantern DC piece. And a page from Nova. What else we got? That doesn't have anything written on it. I'll figure out what that's from. Not sure. It's DC though. I think it's got Lobo on it. And then I've got a JLA page. And it's the artist is, the penciler is Mandonga. You might be interested in this one, Marcus. And then a Spider-Verse team up with Williams pencils and Vines inks. So that's a nice page. So there you go. Then all the art, which is about 4 or 5 pages from the last show, that we will reduce the prices on them. Is Bill an art dealer? Why do people send him this? Because I do these shows, man. It's fun. I am a busy man. So let's see what else we got here. I think that's kind of most of that. Now we can go over to Marcus. Now, Marcus, if you're friends with Marcus on Facebook, and I'm sure many of you are, and Manx, many people are friends with Manx. You saw that he was doing a U.S. tour. I mean, he was with Josh in Chicago. We showed off some photos when he was there. And then Mannix went to the West Coast. He was hanging out with Lance and Marcus for some time. Marcus had pulled together he shot a little bit of video. He shot a bunch of photographs, and he sent them my way so we can see what Mannix got to do while he was hanging out with Marcus for a few days. So let's just show it in its entirety. I think you'll really appreciate it. Lots of fun stuff going on here between them. I mean, they even they went out, they had ice cream. Everybody had a good time. But here, you can see for yourself.
Hey, I got a package from Florida. I think it's from OAX, so I'm going to unbox it right now for you. Fast forward if it takes too long. Can you take the money? Look at all this.
What is it?
What is it? What can it be? What is all this?
Is it some new underpants?
What?
What is it?
What?
What is it? What is it?
She did sports and grammar school.
Oh my gosh!
The crotch goblin is here!
The what? Oh, who's that?
For you.
Zevia!
Oh.
Thanks, everybody!
Bye.
Bye! Zevia for all!
Yeah, you could have a whole episode. Where is the crotch goblin this week, right? Exactly. But it's finally found its way back home to its rightful owner, and we're very happy that Marcus gets to display that proudly in his home for the rest of his life. Yeah, the goblin did get around. So yeah, there you have it. And we got the standee over there to Marcus as well. That was over by the Team Oreo booth for most of OAX. So now he's got that. He can put anybody's face on that he wants. Dress him up as Captain America. So yeah, awesome. Very very happy to have all that over in Marcus's hands now. That was Marcus. Yeah, Antoine. Yeah, Marcus has never been on any of the on our show before, other than in some recordings. And there you have him. He is hanging out. He's got a few photos of himself in his calf gallery. But I saw, again, people wanting to see a couple things related to the Dexter Vine stuff. I will have an email going out tomorrow that will show all the pieces of art that will be in the sale. So you'll be able to get the full preview tomorrow. And again, the show will be at 2 p.m. on Saturday with Dexter. So enjoy that. And I hope you do tune in. So a couple things going on. We have, there was some programming we started. I don't even know when. It's one of those things where we started something and then kind of forgot about it. And then kind of came back to it when I had a different need. And it turned out that it was all done or close to done. So Maureen's been wrapping it up. But it was it's an enhancement to the calf mailbox that we've been wanting to do for a while. And I forget exactly why, it just kind of sat on the back burner and we just never finished it. Essentially, it was, how when you're in your calf mailbox, we just pretty much show every single message, even the replies, even ones that are part of the same thread. They're all just in there, and we can't nest anything. And it's because it wasn't meant to be like that when calf mail was created. That was never the intent. We didn't have a mailbox in your calf account that allowed you to even look at it. So we've been retrofitting that in there. Well, because we're going to be integrating Comic Art Live's email system this May into the overall calf mail system, I kind of ran through some stuff with Maureen with regards to updates that we wanted to make to calf mail. And one of the things was actually having it so it would nest the emails and also give you the ability to filter on some of the things like where the emails are coming from. If they just came from Comic Art Live, you can look at that. So anyway, so I'll show you the way things work today and then how things will be slightly different after that. So, as you can see, like if I've got a few emails with Jared here and a few with Corey, whatnot, Roger Deat, and we'll be talking about Roger in a few minutes. This is how it looks today. You just see every single email and, in the chain and with nothing, kind of nested together. And it literally says, I've got 1,578 emails to show. I've got pages 1 through 32 because we show 50 per page. The new one, and there's still debug code on here and whatnot, but you can see it drops the page count down dramatically. The number of emails get dropped dramatically, and basically now it's nesting things. Like there was 4 separate Jared Simmons emails on this one, as you can see here, and here, and here. But now they're all just basically going to be nested underneath one. And these icons are going to get updated. These were in here just for like the debugging purposes. But Corey, again, you saw 3 or 4 emails on the other page. Now there's just one. But of course, if you go click on it, you're going to be able to go in and actually, read your thread with them. So it's just a way of cleaning up the mailbox. It was always such a pain to kind of go through and see all of that. Well, now it'll be a lot cleaner. And like I said, the big, added to that is the enhancement that we're going to be moving the Comic Art Live mail to be part of your calf mailbox stuff going forward. We will require everybody who visits Comic Art Live, if they want to communicate with anybody, they have to have a calf account. That was started last time. So, more the reason why we're just going to integrate everything into there. As exhibitors, you'll still be able to go into your Comic Art Live booth and review all the emails that come through Comic Art Live there. But the good thing is it will be integrated over on the main mailbox as well. So it's one of those things we've been wanting to do. So I'm glad it's finally going to happen. So speaking of that one gentleman, now I have to actually go over to their calf gallery and I'll show you. I'm sure many people noticed that there was a gentleman posting all of these placeholder images on CAF for I mean, honestly, I kind of missed it until he got to a couple hundred because I'd been so busy with other things. But there was a major theft of original comic art in, I believe, Belgium. And I don't quite know when. I know that there is a press announcement out there somewhere. That's what I'm trying to actually find it. I know he didn't link to it in any of his news in his gallery posts, but I had emailed him letting him know that I didn't want all these placeholder images on there, and that I wanted him to shut his gallery down until he fixed that. And I apologized. And having an art theft of this degree is pretty awful, but we sympathize with him. But I needed him to get his galleries off until he at least had images for everything. So he did get that done, and after that was completed, see, I'm trying to find this. The article that he gave me a link to. But so the thing was, I told him that even though he's technically not in possession of his artwork, he does still own it, which is, the truth. So I told him that I wanted, he can leave it up there, for the time being. So I'll probably send out a little announcement tomorrow about it. But the gentleman's name, I'll just go ahead and share the screen here, and so everybody can see it. His name is Roger Deat. Stolen original artwork. Again, he had 600 pieces stolen from his home, and most of it's European artwork. So I'm sure there's if you're not familiar, there's going to be a lot of artists in this set that you're not familiar with. But you can see Alex Raymond's in this list. Who else we got in there that people would know? Gosh, everyone in this list is artists that I've only seen. George McManus. So he has definitely some vintage stuff in there. But either way, this is almost unheard of, right? And at least in our hobby, I can't say that I don't think we've ever heard of anybody having a theft of this magnitude. So, and I think that there's some issues going on in Belgium with regards to this. So he said that he's going to get me a proper announcement and list that I can post on CAF probably within the next few days. So, hopefully we'll get that out there, and the art comes back. But it was a legit theft from his home, which is really, really awful. So I mean, there's many of us out there who have collections, half this size or close to the size. You can't even imagine what something like that would be like. But so you can tell he's pretty devastated at the moment. But he does hope the community will be able to kind of rally around, look at thumb through his gallery, at least look at the pieces from the artists that you're familiar with, so that you can keep an eye out to see if any of these pieces ever come up for sale. I'm sure many of the European collectors are already aware of it, but I would encourage pretty much everybody just to thumb through his gallery just to get an idea, and then keep your eyes out, because we never would, you never want this to happen to one of our own, and he's beside himself at the moment. So there you have that. Keep it on, keep your eyes open for it. And again, his name. Where was it again? I don't want to get it wrong. Roger Deat, Decadt on Comic Art Fans. So, yeah, that totally sucks. But hopefully we'll a good thing will it'll get returned to him at some point. Fingers crossed. That's why, Jason. Do they allow you to carry, Jason? I can't imagine that. You're tough enough. You don't need to carry. No, when people buy stolen art, they don't. Well, typically when people buy stolen art, they don't know it's stolen. But I think with the size of this theft, most likely people are not, whoever stole it, they're not going to have an easy time selling it. They're not going to be able to put it out there on Kopecki or sites like that. So that's a lot of art to steal and then be forced to sit on. So let's hope something similar to the J.G. Jones incident at OAX happens, and the artwork just gets returned pleasantly to its rightful owner. Right. So, actually, I'm wrapping. I'm really getting through stuff quick. That's good. But so after all that, I do have a page I love from Kevin Sharp. Kevin's. I think we've got about 4 in the queue lined up, and tonight we have a new one. Kevin's still keeping himself rather busy. We have a Nicola Scott page I love to go through tonight. Nicola, obviously, Wonder Woman fan, as many people know, and so it's no surprise that she picked a piece of George Perez art to talk about. This one was a little bit longer as well, so I trimmed it down to about 7 minutes or so, and then I'll post the full video on the channel this weekend. But for those of you who've never met Nicola, at least you get to hear her on here. I've got her photograph up while the podcast rolls here, so have a look and a listen to A Page I Love with Nicola Scott and Kevin Sharp.
Hi everyone, welcome to A Page I Love. This is Kevin Sharp. Today I'm joined by the great Nicola Scott. Nicola, thank you for joining us and welcome to Comic Art Live.
Hi Kevin, thank you so much for having me.
It was an adventure, but we got here.
We sure did.
So you've chosen a cover today featuring a character that a lot of fans, I think, would associate with you in a more current iteration. Could you tell us what your pick is? And also, when would you have first encountered this cover out in the wild?
What I have picked is George Perez's cover for Wonder Woman #7, which I think probably came out in '87. The reason why I've chosen this particular cover was because this is my first encounter of Perez's Wonder Woman and my first encounter of a comic version of Wonder Woman that triggered in me a creative and sort of it inspired me in a way that I just hadn't been inspired by comic art that I'd seen previously, because I'd seen such limited comic art up until that point. I didn't grow up with comic books in my childhood. So the few things that I had encountered were sort of more along the lines of Archie and Garfield. And when I would see superhero comics on the stand when I was growing up, they'd more likely be Thor or Hulk, sort of really sort of butch masculine characters that kind of scared me a little. Or if I did happen to see Wonder Woman on the cover, she would invariably be surrounded by the 70s Justice League, which would have like Green Arrow and Black Canary in it. And I'd be like, who the hell are these characters? They weren't in the Super Friends. I don't know them. And because of my limited exposure to comics, I just couldn't get into it. I walked into a store. I think I was just killing time while my mum was at the Asian grocer next door. This store in my sort of, in the town near my neighborhood that I knew had some superhero things in there. And I had like 5 minutes to kill, and I'd gone in and I cannot remember what the rest of the store had. It wasn't sort of like a modern day geeky store. And they did have a small corner of like this week's comics that just came out. And on the stand was this cover for Wonder Woman, which is story-wise, I now know, was like the immediate aftermath of her first encounter with Ares, which is the final issue of her original arc. So this is like the moment afterwards. And she's kind of in recovery on Paradise Island. And this image of her in this sort of bubble of vision, you know, I don't know if it's like a magic mirror or if it's like a bubble and she's literally on Mount Olympus, but she's surrounded by all the gods on Mount Olympus. It was so jarring and so not what I expected, because my sort of preferred experience of Wonder Woman was Linda Carter at the time. And this was like a comic book version that was so sort of detailed and rich in Greek mythology in a way that I hadn't sort of properly applied to my understanding of Wonder Woman. And I just was like, what is this? What is this? And it was the first time that I'd seen her tiara drawn like this. It was the first time I'd seen these sort of larger silver bracelets as opposed to sort of little navy blue cuffs that she'd had in the comics that I didn't quite understand. And it was the first time that I'd seen the sort of WW chest plate in a way that made sense to me. So much of it was just sort of new information that was immediately intriguing. And I bought that issue, I'm pretty sure this is the first comic book I ever bought for myself. This was the first time that I felt like this is something I'm buying for me because it's speaking to me. I need to understand what this is. And obviously, you know, George is known for his incredibly detailed storytelling and his very rich world building. I now know, because I've now gone back and read the whole series, I immediately went into sort of back issue land. So, brand new for me. I was like, where this says number 7. Is there 6 issues that I'm missing? And she was like, yes. And I was like, how do I get them? And she was like, I can order them in for you. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, please. Now that I'm sort of way more familiar with his work, I really feel like his Wonder Woman series was the pinnacle of his storytelling and his art, because as rich and fabulous as Titans and Crisis was, there's something where I just feel like this is George absolutely hitting it on every single page, in every single panel, a really deep understanding. And sometimes that just sort of happens when you get to sort of properly deep dive onto a single character and their support cast, rather than having to sort of populate a book with, loads and loads and loads of characters, because you're never getting particularly familiar with an environment or a person's sort of inner story. Where with this, I feel like we got Diana's inner story, and we got to sort of George got to really sort of properly explore the island and the gods and Mount Olympus, and this sort of Escher-esque perspective, literally, of what Mount Olympus might look like. And this cover being my first sort of exposure to that concept of the gods sort of on every platform, in every gravitational direction, comfortably sitting and enjoying themselves, watching this sort of submerged Diana, whatever the hell's happening on that cover. It was so deeply intriguing to me that I just needed to know more.
So there you go. Cut a little short, but I think there's like 3 minutes more, maybe 4 minutes more of that. But I will post it all in its entirety on the channel sometime in the next few days, probably tomorrow. I've got some time where I can do that, along with Anthony's Comic Art Con clip. So yeah, we're moving right along here. And my good friend and partner here on the CAF Update, Mr. Chris Snork, is hanging out and ready to get started. Hey, Chris, how's it going?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. The camera's at a different angle. I don't even know if I always knew there was a window over there. I mean,
there's a window there. It's hella dark out there, but there's a window. I moved it because for some reason, I don't know, I maybe inadvertently raised my desk or something, because the glare from those LEDs was really bright, so I turned everything.
I'm getting glare. I see glare. Do you see it on your camera?
You see glare right here?
Well, I do see that too. Yeah, that's kind of. I wasn't going to say anything about that. Hey, I'm sure you could probably have hair if you wanted it, right? No,
not anymore. No.
Oh,
but you know what? I hated my hair when I had hair, so this is what I prefer.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. All right. I figured it was a choice. It's a lifestyle.
It is. Yes, I could have horrible hair now.
All right. Well, then it does make things a bit easier, I'm sure. All right. Well, listen, we're going to dive right into everything here. I've had we got I got my heritage picks. Did I line them up? I didn't line them up yet, but here I'll get them on the screen here so I can start sharing them. But anything new? Did you I really wasn't on CAF much of this week, so I don't even know. Did you add any new art to your CAF cover?
I haven't. I have 2 pieces on deck though that I'm going to add this week.
Very good. Well, is the Thing in either of them?
Matter of fact, no.
Wow.
I had quite a Thing spate there, so yeah, I have a couple of non-Thing related images to post. I have one sitting right here. Hold on. I may have showed this already, but if I haven't, so this is
Travis.
Yeah, it's a collage that he made out of sketchbook images that he cut out with an X-Acto and then put on this piece of paper. So that's going up.
Wow. Who'd you get that from? Bought it directly from him?
No, the guy that houses Travis in his basement sold that to me.
Poor guy. Yeah, Lance has got something on him, doesn't he?
He does. I don't know what it is, but God bless him for having it.
Was that for sale in his CAF, or did you just kind of reach out to him? Like, do you got anything that you can have him do for me? Or
I'm not gonna kiss and tell, Bill.
All right. I'm just curious, but well, that's interesting that he would, like repurpose the pieces. But it's kind of cool, right? I mean, by themselves, they wouldn't have looked too awesome on a page, but doing something like that, that looked nice.
But now the problem is as you know, this is a sickness, and so now I have 2 unpublished Travis pieces, and so I'm going to have to get one that's published, and then maybe I can be done.
I mean, do you have a particular era of Travis work? I mean,
Wildcats.
Wildcats. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one I think when I picture his work, I think of that era of his stuff and style more than anything. So yeah.
Metabaron would be fine too, but I don't think I've literally ever seen one.
Nope. No,
so,
not at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive. Did I get anything? I have not gotten any new art in a couple weeks myself, but I've got a lot of stuff to post.
It feels weird, doesn't it? Not buying art.
It does. I mean, the thing is, I haven't put anything up that I got from OAX or picked up there, the pre-cons and things. So I have a lot.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
A lot to get. I don't know what the hell. They've been sitting right there. They're literally within like a foot of the scanner. They can
I know. Well, mine was, like 8 feet away. I could have done that a few times and I haven't yet. So
yes,
worse yet, one of them is on a USB drive next to my computer and I literally just haven't loaded it yet. It's that bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's see here. We're gonna look at my Heritage picks. I'll tell you, Heritage was tough this week. I didn't think that there was a lot of great. Well, okay, I want to say wasn't a lot of great stuff. There's okay stuff up there, but there was stuff that there was no standout stuff to me really. Yeah. And maybe they got through those DC auctions and things are I don't know, it's like a down week or something for them, but there was a Mazzucchelli Daredevil. All right, it's
I mean, not for nothing, but
all right, exactly. I mean, I start off with one that every half the people in the chat probably would love to own, but it's from issue 213. You got Daredevil on. I mean, most of these panels, even look at that one. I thought that second panel by itself is sells the page. It's only at $700 right now. So I thought that was a little surprising that it wasn't a little more. I mean, look at it. Is he really in it? Okay, the only panel he's not in is the one where the goons are all tied up and he's pulling them out of the sewer. I mean, so there was the one standout piece, and there is a second one.
You know what's cool though is between 3 and 4, his thought bubble is coming from panel 3. I'm sorry, from panel 4, and he's acting in panel 4, and then what's happening is in 5, and that's where his thought bubble is.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I didn't even notice that. That is very interesting.
That's cool. What a segue.
Huh. That's I can't. Have we seen that before? I don't think
I don't think I've. Well, I mean, maybe I have, but I've never considered it like that.
Haul their fat out of the fire. Interesting. Well, this is a good one, everybody. That looks like the Kingpin's fist, right? Slugging somebody. So there you go. Good page in the set. So what do I got next here? Tom Sutton Fighting Marines 119 cover. Sutton we don't feature too often. I just love the perspective on this thing. I thought it was I mean, isn't it? It's really cool. And obviously he's trying to channel Kubert, Joe Kubert a little bit here. But I just thought just the whole angle on this thing, these guys coming down from the chopper, and just the whole battle going on. I thought it was just, I loved it for that. And
I like the exaggeration on that central figure too.
Yep. Yeah,
that's fun,
isn't it? I mean, this is definitely nice. I mean, even when you look at it, it's like he's really what year is it? 74.
Kind of Michael Golden.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying there. But very nice. And Sutton is somebody that I don't think we talk about too often. I don't know why. The Chapa, says Jeff. But anyway, this is a good one. Definitely a good one, and should do well. Darwin Cook illustration. Again, I was I was reaching for stuff here, but everybody wants a Darwin example.
I like that.
This is a very nice one. Simplistic, but it's what you'd want in a Darwin colored piece here. So a nice Batwoman, and there was plenty of Al Milgrom art in this auction, as there always is. To me, this was the best page. It was from Captain Marvel 50. I just thought all around it just had some nice action in it, and it's Terry Austin inks too. So You know, that just kind of
doesn't hurt.
No, it makes the page all the better. So Blatoon in there. But yeah, look at that. All just decent action. You get the Beast. You got Cap in there.
Cap looks great in that last panel.
Yeah. You get a checkerboard or chess or something in there. And then I don't know who the villain is. He's got, you know, Iron Man's costume and like the Vision. I don't know what's going on in that.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel 50.
Sick collar.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a good one. You know, an Adventure Comics recreation by Craig Flessel. I mean, I don't know, somebody who we don't talk about at all because there really isn't a lot of his art out there. So I saw this and I thought, well, you know, might as well feature it because I'm not seeing a lot of other things that I thought were cool. There's definitely a number of recreations of his out there. So for those of you who want to keep the memory alive of Craig, I would definitely think that this would be a piece of interest to some people. Then, okay, now this could be the standout piece of the whole thing, though. It's a Hostess ad, a Hostess Twinkies ad from, but the character is Josie, of course. I mean, so it's not like it's you know, it's a Marvel or a DC, but it's a Hostess Twinkie ad. Everybody, Dan DeCarlo, Jim DeCarlo on here. It's at $9.25 already. I mean, it was at like 200 when I actually made these tabs earlier today. And I was surprised. I thought, boy, this is the one that should go, you know, probably. I mean, I'd be shocked if it's not in the top 3. Let's put it that way, because everybody wants a Hostess ad, and here is one.
DeCarlo,
exactly. And you get the Dan DeCarlo pencils on there. So someone tell McCann. We know he likes these, but yeah, again, I think this one's going to do pretty well. It is nice the more I look at it, but still, it's not the Hulk eating a Twinkie or something.
Right.
Then there were a couple Gabriel Ba Umbrella Academy pages. So this was my favorite of the bunch. This is from issue 3. Let me click on this and come on, click. There we go. You know, I like the Umbrella Academy. I actually did read it, everybody, and I like the art from it. And this is a fun page. So. You know, I don't see pages come up, at least at auction, too often. And there is another page in there, which is it's kind of like the opposite of this one. It's a lot of darks and, you know, very scarce amounts of light on it. So the pages couldn't have been more different. And it was pretty good, the other page, but I think I just like this one a little bit more. Then I know there's a Hawkman fan or two out there. So Shelley Moldoff Hawkman illustration from '92. You know, again, I think if you're a fan of Shelley and you like his Hawkman stuff, this would be a good one for you.
That's nice. Tight, it's really clean.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I you know, the wings are kind of weird. I mean, they look more like fur than.
That's how he drew them.
That's how he right. I mean, that's how exactly. That's why he said it's what is it from the 40s. So done precisely that way. And you're right. As far as the mask goes, it's from that same period. Yeah. But yeah, cool piece. I mean, I don't think I'd ever have a reason to own anything by Shelley, but I'd be happy to be the next owner of it. And then we got a Howard Chaykin piece in here because I know, you know, Mr. Chuck Arnold is a fan of this guy, but very nice page. Everything you'd want in a good Howard page. You know, he always does like an inset, close up, eyeballs, pair of eyes, a face, something like that to kind of move you from panel to panel. So I think it has all the standard stuff that you'd want in a solid Chaykin page. So I like this one. And then last but not least, this might be the Twinkies one is probably the best page in the set, along with the Mazzucchelli. But then there's this Alex Toth Blazing Combat page. Okay, and this one's it's doing pretty well. It's almost up to $1,500 already. But look at this thing. I love that, you know, no panel borders on it. It's just you know, you've got just dog fights every panel. It's look at that. I mean, look at that one right there. Nice. You know, second to the last one. That thing is awesome. So
that is a beauty.
It is. But
it looks like he lettered it too. So that's great.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, look at these trees with the snow on them.
Yeah.
You can read this thing so so well.
Man,
and I don't know how many other artists could do ink wash like this and then have it read as well. I mean, because you can tell. I mean, looking at this in black and white, I mean, you know, this is a snow-covered battlefield, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome.
That's really pretty.
Yeah. All right. So this is the best piece in the bunch, but again, there just wasn't. I'm not expecting wonderful things from the weekly auction this week, just because.
What's that at, Bill?
This one's at. What's that? This one's at 1,500 or 1,450. Yeah. So nice page, and again, you know, good. There's a fair amount of Toth artwork out there that we see, you know, every other week or every 3 weeks on Heritage. This is one of the better pieces I think I've seen, you know, in a while. So, duo shade, is it duo shade paper? Is it? Oh, it is. Look at that. I didn't even look that close. Dang. So that makes it even more interesting, doesn't it? I wonder if that's why he didn't outline the panels. You know, maybe they did it somehow in production. Yeah. Well, cool.
I don't know. They're pretty tightly ruled. That looks deliberate to me.
I would agree.
Well, you read enough of those angry Toth letters, and you really pick out his writing.
Yes, that is so true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, man. Those are my Heritage picks for the week. Check them out and figure out if there's anything of interest to anybody else. Or just it's a slim week this week, but you know, they just had the international auction, and I think they just launched a new signature auction is getting started soon. I know I got pinged. There's the Art of Archie auction, signature auction that just started today. So I don't know. Too many auctions out there. Hard to keep track. We need an auction calendar, I think, on CAF just to make sure that we actually can, you know, never miss it.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not.
Even if you had a ticker.
Something like that. But they would like it. Maybe we can get them to pay for it too.
Oh,
another marketing opportunity.
We just monetize something, Bill.
Yeah. We've got a lot of things to think about, I think, in the next few months. But I can tell everybody, you know, I'm finally supposed to get a new update from the app tomorrow, I think. So or at least over the weekend. So I get to see another version of it.
That would be really cool for the app to send you a notification when there's an auction that night.
Yeah, you know what? Now see, that's something people would pay for. Push it. Yeah, taking notes here. But yeah, no, we have a lot. We have high hopes for the app. You know, first version is going to be, you know, a little light, I think, but as it the cool thing is you know, a lot of that stuff you can push updates down to the app pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this next version because I'll actually get to browse artwork, which is what I've been waiting for. We're
kind
so
of the whole thing.
I know. Well, we're so focused on getting the admin right that you know, we've just left that for last, and yeah, so I'm ready. I want to see something
cool.
All right, so as everybody knows, we're going to feature the EXP next. We've got a shorter than usual video clip, I think, from Nick this time around. So EXP is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and all those other places that Nick and the EXP crew stream to. So let's see here. What do we got? I haven't watched this one yet, so we'll see what Nick's bringing for sale tomorrow.
Everybody, this Friday, which I believe is March 15th, the Ides of March, we will have an incredible original art experience show. So, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Let's show a few things. It looks a little bit lighter than normal, but that's okay. We've got some nice Luke Ross Spectacular Spider-Man. Or if I was Mike Berkey, I'd say Spidey Man. But wait, what are these bats doing? Is this a crossover? Nah. Then we got Jack-O-Lantern. Check it out. MJ. These are going to be extremely affordable. We will have Karate Kid. And if I remember correctly, it's Rick Estrada. We will have Chuck Patton, whose art I don't think we've had on Justice League before. Adventure Comics, Jim Aparo, and I'm going to bring this as the most affordable Adventure Comics Jim Aparo I've ever had. We've got a little bit of Jim Starlin, and even though he's small, you got Spidey Man there, and a few places, plus Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. Terminus by the late great. Paul Ryan, you got Captain America, Black Panther, and more on top. Then for the win, we've got Anthony Wynn, X Factor, Anthony Wynn, Wolverine, and Dustin Wynn, Batman and Robin, or Robin and Batman. Then I am going to do the Quesada Ninjak pages. I really don't want to, but Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti, the team supreme. But at the same time, if I don't do it, Marcus is going to give me CRAP, and I don't want that. And we have the Shadow commission cover art by Alex Ross, and it's number 10 of 200. So we may have more art, we may not. Might make it a light week. Just a lot going on, and maybe we can talk about some of it. So, this Friday, March 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Why do I always move my hands? Only on the Original Art Experience. And hit that thumbs up and share. Sharing is caring. See you Friday.
Indeed. Well, we got Friday at 7 p.m. So, all right. Well, see, there we're ready to dive into the CAF update now, everybody. So, what do we got? I think it was a light week for OA dealers. I'm not quite sure why, but we're looking at the period of the 4th through the 10th of March for this report. Now, dealers only sold 159,000. I was going to say 160. Well, let's make it sound worse than that. 159 compared to like 449 last week. So that's $290,000 drop in sales. 290 would have been an okay week.
Yeah.
that was the subtraction. Felix was number one, 56 sales, just over $56,000 in sales for that period. And then we had Berkey had 14 sales, $31,000. Moy had 18 sales, $27,000, and Anthony had 44 sales, $24,000. So just kind of an in a very, very ho-hum average week for OA dealers. The top 6 sales, what do we got here? I think these are going to reflect that no real super high priced items. 159 there. Then we have this first piece, a Tales to Astonish, Jack Kirby, Saul Brodsky. This was an Ant-Man story page from 1962. This was sold by Anthony. Asking price on this one was $10,000. Then we have a Gene Colan, Tom Palmer, Tomb of Dracula Splash from 1975. This was sold by Mike Berkey for the asking price of $8,500. Then this is a Felix piece. This is a Old Man Logan, Marvel's Wastelanders issue. Steve McNiven art, sold for $8,000. And another Felix sale. This was Batman Gargoyle of Gotham, issue 1 cover. Paul Pope art, obviously. And the price on this one was $8,000. Then we got 2 more here, I think. We saw this on the Dueling Dealers. It didn't sell on Dueling Deals, but it did sell on Mike's site later. $7,000 was the asking price on this. Elektra by Frank Miller. And finally, a Marvel Team Up issue 141 page sold by Albert Moy for $6,500 by Greg LaRocca. And I assume it was that much because of the black costume. Must be a special issue period or something, because there wasn't a lot of action on that page. $6,500 though.
Wow.
Hey, it must have been a pivotal moment, one of those early appearances of something. So good for Albert. God, I owe Albert a phone call. Albert was texting me over the weekend. He's like, "Call me," and I totally forgot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If Albert, you're not watching, but maybe Marcus will let you know that I will call you tomorrow. All right. Auction results, same period. So auction, as everybody knows, we had an issue with the crawl from eBay the week before, so I only had 166,000 in there. I did run a report, so last week was more like 305 total between eBay and Heritage after I got the crawl issue worked out. But the things are totally skewed anyway, because the overall sales for all the auctions that were last week that we could track, including the signature auction, was $2.5 million. eBay's total in that was 163. Heritage's weekly auction was 190. and then the signature auction reached $2.3 million. And then, of course, the Comic Link auction ended last week too, and there were a lot of pretty decent results in that we really can't report on since we don't get any of Comic Link's market data. But that Avengers 1 page sold for 110. Like Bob mentioned earlier, that the Iron Man cover went for 82, 83. And I think there was a Wolverine Silvestri cover that went for almost $60,000. So Comic Link had pretty decent set there. One of these days, boy, I'd like to get their market data integrated into our stuff. So yeah, I'll have to give my annual ask to Josh sometime soon so he can turn me down like he's done for the last 10 years or so. But let's take a look at the top 3 sales from eBay and then the top 3 sales from Heritage last week. So again, we were not going to include the signature pieces in here, but from eBay we get this piece, and it did sell for $31,800, at least what it was listed on eBay. This is a Corbin Fantagor page, and these are very hard to come by, as the price would suggest. Then we have this Kevin Maguire Justice League International Splash. It was actually listed for $50,000, but sold for a make offer of 10. So hey, 80% off. Next, we have a Dick Dillon, Frank McLaughlin Justice League of America 139 page. This one actually went for a best offer, and I didn't have time to check to see what it went for. It was listed at 4. Then over at Heritage, we got the Jerry Ordway JLA number 6 cover that went for $13,200. That thing is awesome. Then a Al Milgrom Marvel Spotlight cover to issue 3. This one went for $11,400. And I didn't feature those last week, did I? I don't think I did, because
no.
Yeah, but I did feature this one. The Jim Woodring Congress of Animals DPS went for $6,000. Deservedly so, man. That's just so crazy. I can't imagine having something like that on your wall.
That is wild.
Isn't it? I mean, it's so wild. I'd like to have it hanging up on my wall. Anyway, so there you go. That's our set for both eBay and Heritage. So keeping an eye on stuff over there. eBay's been kind of hit or miss of late, but that one piece was kind of crazy. The Corbin piece. You don't see Corbin work come up too often, and that's like really, really, early in his career. So I can see people being very interested in that one.
I wonder what that Guy Gardner, that Kevin Maguire image would have gone for on Heritage, because that's a really that's a pivotal moment from the Giffen run. So
exactly, I was, clearly they were very optimistic in the $50,000 price that they listed it at, but 10 did feel like a little bit low. So I thought the same thing. I did not go to look to see, how long was it up for sale, because maybe it was around for a while, but I don't think so. I check out like the high price stuff that's on eBay, the people are fishing for, and I can't say that I've seen that piece up there before. So, hey, buyer and seller are happy. And at least we have an eBay deal that didn't get canceled after somebody got cold feet. So, yeah, exactly. Rick Welch says it was a Belgian seller. Okay. And Black Viper Torn says it was 100,000 before that. Well, then they were dreaming at that point. They wouldn't have gotten the 50 at Heritage, but it would have been interesting to see in a auction format like that. I mean, on Comic Link, I mean, it's a piece that people would have been very interested in. It would have done well almost anywhere, but hey, they put it up on eBay. Yep. Rick Welch says, just kidding. I'm sorry. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Rick. Yeah. One demerit.
I see what he did. I see
what he did too. Yeah. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Jeff Dunn said he owned that Maguire.
Jeff Dunn says he's owned a lot of different things in the past. I'm starting to wonder about this guy. He says he owned a Simonson cover at some point. I mean, what didn't Jeff own? How is this even possible?
Jeff, do you remember that one episode of Three's Company where they had a misunderstanding? That's a little OAX joke.
Yeah. Yep. Well, okay, moving right along. I guess we can dive into to our picks now, Chris. And
let's go.
There was a fair amount of decent artwork posted to CAF this last week, I have to say. Although I think for me, most of the picks were kind of easy. I didn't have to fret too much on.
There were a bunch of slam dunks, and there was a bunch of stuff where I just Bill will pick that. That'll get in, no problem.
Yes, exactly. All right, so here, let me share your set here, and get over that, and that. So I think we're starting off with something from James Siegel. Are we not? Yes, we are. So Ghost Rider, Javier Salters, and Mark Teixeira inks on this baby. Let's see.
So
Wow.
this is this is probably my peak collection. This was the first comic I ever bought 2 copies of, and the old cranky bastard who owns the shop downtown here in Madison accused me of speculating. I didn't even know what it meant. I think I was 11 when this came out, or 12 when this came out, and he accused me of speculating because I bought 2 copies. So this I think it was a 2-issue like crossover, holds a very special place in my heart. So the fact that James picked this up is pretty awesome. I loved Javier Salteras on this book, and I think I commented on this, but Salteras to me has like a lot of the Teixeira style, but he everything's a little more reined in. Like the anatomy's not quite as wild, the poses aren't quite as wild, things like that. So when you have him doing pencils and then Teixeira on inks, you kind of get the best of both worlds. So I think this is a cool example of that partnership.
Well, that's cool. I wasn't reading comics at this moment, but no, that's awesome. That's a very nice page. And James has a very, you only think of James more of like the X-Men fan, but he definitely is a fan of just this era of comics.
Yep.
And his collection definitely, shows that love for this era. And yeah, what is this? That's Colin is mentioning that he's got something featured by Javier tomorrow. So cool. Very nice. Very timely. And the professor says that he bought 5 copies of this issue when he was a kid.
Good job, Derek.
Yeah, he wasn't speculating either. He just wanted to make sure he had 4 pristine copies floating around. But do you still have them is the question.
No, I sold all my comics last year, actually. But I bought 2. The reason I bought 2 copies was because we lived in Richland Center, which is like an hour away from here at the time, and we didn't have a comic store. So my friend that got me into collecting comics would have been absolutely bereft if he didn't get a copy. So I bought 2, one for me, one for him, and got, accuse a 12-year-old of speculating on comic values.
Rich Cirillos says the Snork the Speculator sounds like a Kirby character.
My glasses would have to be way bigger though, so that I could speculate properly.
They would. They definitely would. But no, congrats, James. Another very nice piece added to your calf gallery. I mean, seemingly every other day, James is adding something else spectacular to his calf. Now this one, Mr. Barucci picked this one up. I didn't know it from Cap. I knew it because I was, I think I got a Facebook prompt that there was a post up there by Nick and was getting a lot of comments. So I saw it there and I enjoyed the fact that, I knew this was on Albert's site for a long time as well. And so it's cool to see it. And then I read his comments on it, how he's been eyeing it for a very long time and had to make I think mostly trade deal with Albert to make it work. But hey, this is awesome. How often are you going to get a Mike Mignola penciled John Byrne inked piece?
Exactly. No, I mean, that's really the reason to pick it. I love Alpha Flight from this period, and they did those cool issues where they crossed over and like they flip-flopped art teams on it. And so this is kind of the perfect synthesis of like that little crossover event that they did. And Mignola and Byrne were obviously colleagues. And then I'm sure most people know that Byrne actually wrote all the dialogue for the first few issues of Hellboy. So just, this is such a cool partnership in my mind, 2 of the best to ever do it, 2, absolute legends. And then just an era of Alpha Flight that I have a soft spot for. So, and then, the fact that Nick is the guy who owns it, I just think is the cherry on top.
Exactly. Nick's been posting some awesome art of late. I don't know how he's doing it, but what's the next big pickup that you're going to get, Nick? We're just going to surprise us all. But I'm looking forward to seeing it. But yeah, this is awesome. And again, it's I've talked about it numerous times. You see that piece on the dealers gallery, up on their site for sale forever, and you find, you just keep thinking about it. You feel like you own it, and then one day you finally pull the trigger and make it happen. So I think that's fantastic. So congrats, Nick. That is a good one.
You can lull yourself into a false sense of security with art on someone's site. I'm in that position with like 3 pieces at any given time.
Yeah. No, there's there always is, I think, and it's funny that, but like you said, you got to move it or lose it sometimes, because somebody else is going to eventually stumble across it. The price will be right a couple years later because the dealer didn't update it, and it'll disappear. And worse, they'll tell you that they sold it 6 months ago and hadn't removed it yet. And that's going to make you feel even more terrible. You were looking at it for the last couple months and it wasn't even available.
The old Quan Chang.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I didn't say anything.
So funny thing was I was actually going to pick this piece too, and then you picked it. I just think from the lighting on this thing, the execution of this piece, it's so unlike sci-fi rocket ship illustrations that I think we're all used to seeing from pulp, 50s magazines and everything. There's just something so tight about the way he rendered this the rocket ship that I was in awe of it. I mean, it's very, very, very unique.
Yeah, I mean, you basically hit the nail on the head. It's so technically perfect. It's in the fact that it's so technically perfect is what makes it such an effective image. This is a perfect illustration, essentially. Like, you don't have to care about the subject matter. It's not like Fish's thing about well, if it was a tree, would you still care about it? Would you still own it? It's still a rocket ship. It's still sci-fi. Like, it's still got some niche element to it that makes it appealing to guys who collect comic art. But it's just perfectly executed. It's beautiful and it's so strong. It is such a strong image.
No, I agree. And I think with Fish, it was a deer. Remember that? He was like,
yeah.
Because I still have that deer art on my wall. I remember the day Fish made that comment in the conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fantastic. And I'm not even familiar with the artist on this one. Ed Valigursky. And but wow. And this is in whose calf gallery is this? Bruce W., 9-year veteran of calf this month. So I'm just curious. We'll see. Is there anything else? There's 16 pieces by Ed on there. Look, it was clearly it was once owned by John Davis, sold to Bruce W. How long was that? A couple of years ago. All right, John, it's time to remove it from your calf when we see 2 images in the same spot. Look, he's got it here too. He sold those to Bruce.
Yeah, no
man. John, does it say sold? It says not for sale. Not for sale. Come on, John, you got to do some cleanup. We don't like having duplicate entries. You know what? And I can't believe this, man. You know what I forgot? 2 weeks ago, I forgot to tell everybody that the 2 millionth of artwork got posted to calf.
Ooh.
And then promptly removed because it was an art for sale piece. So I couldn't show it that week, which was kind of why I forgot about it. I remember I saw it. I even sent it to Maureen. I'm like, congratulations. We just got our 2 millionth ID, passed. And I think it was in, I want to say it was in like Amir E's calf gallery, but
that's cool too.
But it was only up for like a day. And then it was funny. I went back and I started changing the number. I want to see, all right, I'm going to show everybody the 2,000,001 piece. No, I went all the way up to 10. All those pieces got turned off. So I was like, well, screw it. I'm not even going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
But we did hit that milestone, everybody. That's the important part. It's, we did make it to 2 million pieces posted to calf. Now this is a minimalist piece posted in Adam Law's calf gallery. So I'm going to leave this one all to you.
So that's exactly why I picked it. I like how much he did with so little. The wires radiating out from the pole, like basically just the outline of a silhouette of a bird. you don't need a lot to have a really killer illustration. And I think this is just a great example of that.
And Adam Lott just clicked in, and that is synchronicity, I think, Adam. There you go, talking about your artwork at that moment. Now
he felt the universe aligning.
So Sean Phillips, Ed Brubaker on this one. What is it? It's a chapter splash. Okay, well, that makes sense. I love Sean's stuff.
I do too, but you know, this isn't like, this doesn't scream Sean Phillips at you, right?
No.
By any means.
No, not at all. Other than his signature. That's it. There's nothing else that tells you it's by Sean, really.
Even that, you'd need to know who it was, whose signature that was, because it's sure not legible.
What's Marcus's comment? This needs an impassioned, dramatic reading or a Bee Gees audio soundtrack.
Maybe both.
Exactly. No, but cool piece. Exactly. It's that's an interesting pick though. But I can see how it would work perfectly as a chapter splash in anything that Brubaker and Sean were working on. So, cool. Yeah, I'll summon you. All right, well, cool. Welcome, Adam. Congrats on Night Fever. Boy, the Bee Gees reference screaming there. All right, so then Stephen Davich's CAF gallery. He's got this Eric Larson, Klaus Janson inked Thor page where he's battling the Wrecking Crew.
Yep.
Nice.
So I love the Wrecking Crew. They're probably my favorite. I don't know. Can you call them Thor villains? I mean, they appeared in Thor first, right?
Yeah.
Or at least Wrecker did.
Wrecker did, definitely.
But, Avengers villains, whatever you want to call them, they were part of the Masters of Evil, the whole shtick. But I think Eric Larson, for me, is at his best when he's, paying homage to Kirby. That's what he's doing here. The angles on Thor's hand, honestly, the angles on everything are like Larson doing Kirby, which I think is so great. The figures rushing forward on that bottom right panel, like the foreshortening is so good, especially on Wrecker. Yeah. And he's just having fun and like aping something that he loves. And I think like the energy in the piece, and like especially in that third panel with Wrecker yelling, it's a lot of fun. It's a great looking page.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It is a very, very nice page. I saw this one around the time it was posted, so I liked it as well. Didn't pick it, but it's a great pick. I mean, how can you go wrong with Larson and Janson working together? They're going for the classic 4-panel layout, like you said when you mentioned Kirby. So yeah, there's a lot of subtle references here to the King, and it's a fantastic page.
Chuck pointed out too, there is some Simonson here for sure. But I mean, Simonson and Kirby also, that's,
Oh yeah. And definitely in the Thor here in that first panel. I mean, the way he's handling the inks there.
Even the pose.
Yep. Quite true. Well, they're paying homage to many folk in this one. So congrats. Steve Davich has a very eclectic and interesting CAF gallery. If you've not spent any time in it, I'd wholeheartedly suggest you go take a look at it. Next up, and this is Chad Beckerman, 2-year member of CAF. This is what do we got here?
So it's almost production art, I guess, if you want to get technical, because what I believe this is the overlay for the original art. So it's a painted overlay that went over top of Tim Sale's pencils.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's art unto itself, obviously, but when you look at the two, like what really I thought was cool about this is you can see like it's such an antiquated production technique, and this comic isn't that old. Superman for All Seasons is probably 15 years old, maybe at this point, maybe 20. I don't quite 1998. Okay, so it's a little older than that, but I was so surprised to see that this is how this was done, and that led me to read it, to read a little more about the description and things like that. But like, it's a great looking like little painting essentially.
Yeah, no, that is without the overlay. Yeah. That's interesting. I would never have guessed that was the. But then again,
Right.
that's kind of the era, though, right? That's where we have a fair number of like Adam Hughes pieces that are like that, with Adam painting the backgrounds, and again Bjarne Hansen as the painter.
I never knew the name. I never knew that's how it was produced. So for me, it was kind of like a little, mini revelation. I was like, oh, I should pick that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the other pieces here are color guides. Yeah, no, I'm not familiar, but again, colors. That's cool. But that is a very nice painting. That looks just like something you would expect from a background painting from Disney or something like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. And then we have Alex Nino, and this is in Ken Picardo's Cap Gallery. And look, Marcus is the first commenter on this one too.
What a surprise!
This is nice. I mean, who doesn't love Nino anyway? I don't know how he draws. He has such a weird form to his inking, right? Everything's in these. I don't know. I'll let you talk about it.
Well, it's like slashes and dashes, kind of. That's what I call it, and like it makes a really. If you were able to like look at 3 square inches of this, it almost doesn't read it because of like the weird line weights and the thicknesses and the angles and things like that. It's almost, I don't want to say geometrical, but like it's a little bit abstract. So it's only when you see like the whole piece like this, I actually don't even think that like color doesn't help, right? Color doesn't help this much. Like when you see these in black and white, I think that's when they really shine. We, as our collectors, I think that about a lot of art, but Nino in particular, I think, does not benefit from color. Like there's so much subtle stuff going on in here. Like the guy on the left, are they both centaurs? Yeah, they're both centaurs. Yeah. But the guy on the left, his haunches, there's so much cool textural stuff going on with the inks on those haunches, and like where he chooses to spot blacks or not, and like the fact that like if you can even call it a background, the background is just suggestions of like weird alien trees. He's just so wild, and like there's so much to love about somebody that is like so fearless and so inventive in like how he's putting ink down, where he's putting it. Like Nino is just incredible.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said geometric, because I bit my tongue. I didn't want to say anything like, I didn't want to say the word cubist, but I'm seeing all these cubes when I look at it. And they really aren't cubes, but it's how he chooses to kind of fill in the grays and some of the blacks. It really is like a skewed cube in many cases, and I don't think it's intentional. It's just his style, and then it just happens when you look at this piece. It's all over. It's everywhere. It's in the background. It's in the haunches. It's but yeah, no, very 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 nice piece. I wonder how big it is. 18 by 24. So this thing is huge,
massive.
Wow. Well, that is a very nice piece of artwork. I gotta get me like a black and white Nino. This would be all right. Add it to my checklist. Kirskiro, says Chuck Arnold. Toth. We have a Toth sighting. We have a published Toth sighting. We got Sinister House of Secret Love.
Right?
Toth. My goodness.
You
Sinister and Love. And Secret Love, no less.
And House.
In a house. And it's kabong bong bong. All right. This is all right. Well, tell me, I mean, it's Toth, for crying out loud. That's
right. I mean, and if I don't pick Mignola, I gotta pick Toth. So I kind of did both this week, I guess. I don't know. I'm weak, Bill. But I love the storytelling here. I love the crazy stairwell. The fact that this is some like, I don't know, this reminds me of like Dark Shadows or something, like a weird like Spanish telenovela with like horror elements mixed in or something. So the subject was really fun. But like, to be totally honest, it's the third panel. It's that female face in the third panel that just like sells the whole deal. It's gorgeous.
That's true. Frank Giacquea inks on this one too, which is
wild, right?
Yeah, not expected, but but it still feels like Toth. I mean, he you look at the inking on these rock walls or whatnot. I mean, you can tell Giacoya was really trying to stay true to Toth's pencils on this thing. Yeah,
well, probably because he'd get a bunch of angry letters if he didn't.
Yes, exactly. So true. Yeah, no, I think it's cool. Even this, the gondola in the back. I mean, I like it's an interesting approach. I mean, if you would have made it all black, that you would have lost it probably. So that's an interesting way of handling it.
Credit to Giacoya.
Yeah,
which I've never said in my life.
Now you have. It might not be the last time. But, so wait, let me see here. Francois Lab from Canada, a 19-year veteran of comic art fans.
Nice
very
page.
Nice. Very nice. All right, we got 2 more artworks to look at here. This is in the CAF member of Kevin A. And this is, what is it from? Darth Vader 42.
I was going to make this my last selection because I kind of like to go out with a bang. Like, I don't put these in any particular order, but if there's one piece where I'm like, oh, damn, like I'll make that number 10 typically. Mm-hmm. And that's what this was until I saw the 10th piece. But anyway, we'll focus on number 9. So I absolutely love that montage of images in the background. I think that is such a cool storytelling technique, especially because when you have that amazing, like battle damaged, like gnarly looking Vader in the foreground, it just like everything in the background is more simplified. And then he really dials up the Vader image. And I think that makes the character image like pop out like so much more, in spite of the fact that the background is really busy. And I love the strike through element with the lightsaber on this, especially.
Mm. Yeah, I thought this thing was fantastic as well. I love the way they handled the panels behind him, but really Vader is just, I mean, he's so beat up, and it's, you don't see that too often. Nicks and things on his helmet, his clothing is torn. I mean, the image, but the image is just so well rendered. I mean,
yeah. It feels a little manga-ish.
It does have a feel like that. You're absolutely right. But I was taken really, there's just so much to love about this piece, and whether it's Vader or it's the way the panels are done behind him. But yeah, I think this is fantastic. And this was Adam Gorham. Now, I'm not really. I know we've talked about Adam's work before, but I can't think of what else. What other pieces we've talked about?
He's one of Cam's guys. Okay. At Inky Knuckles, and this is I would say this is definitely his biggest book that he's worked on. But indie stuff, creator-owned stuff in the past, and then more recently a Marvel artist.
Very cool. All right. Well, this last piece I know was in Felix's CAF gallery. A Torpedo promo art piece by Rizzo.
I didn't want to pick this, but only because you picked Rizzo last week. And I was like, can we do it 2 weeks in a row? But like, the more I like looked at this thing, the more I like had to talk about it. And this is probably the dumbest reason to like fall in love with a piece. But so it's 2 tones, right? There's like no mid-tone, there's no whatever. So the fact that he used the bottom of an easy chair as the break in the image to go from black to white, like, I'm not sure I've ever seen anything that clever in my life. Like, it's so, I don't know, nothing, but at the same time, everything. All that is the bottom of a chair, but it like completely holds the whole, it nails the image together. And everything else with Torpedo, yeah, of course, that's Rizzo being Rizzo. But for me, that graphic element, the design element, whatever you want to call it, of that chair uniting the 2 halves of the page is just like, I thought about it all week. Yeah. I don't know how you like conceive of that. And like I said, it's simple, whatever, which is probably what makes it clever, but I just think it's incredible.
No, I'm with you. I didn't see it until you picked it, though. I didn't spend a lot of time on Gaff this week, but this is absolutely amazing. Just the way the lighting's handled, the hints of the chair there. I mean, he just gives us enough to know, the type of chair he's sitting in. But but graphically, I mean, it's such a wonderful image. I mean, and what does it say it was used for? It was it's just promo art.
Yeah.
So like maybe a poster or something, maybe in the back of a book. I'm just trying to read through his description really quick, but I guess it doesn't say. But my goodness, yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, and anything that Felix adds to his calf gallery, is like the best of the best of the best. I mean, so
he's a sniper.
He is, but I mean, the thing is, it's stuff like things like this, man. I think there's just people know, like, when they've got something good, you probably, if Felix is a good guy to ask first. I mean, he has very eclectic taste, but man, there are most of his stuff are grand slams, and this is fantastic.
Yeah,
blows away the Rizzo I picked last week.
I love this so much.
Yeah. Let's see here. So, all right, well, great picks. I can see why you made this one be your last.
Thank you. I had to rant about a weird drawn chair for a couple of minutes. That's why I picked it last.
Well, we'll switch to my picks now. And I did pick a John Byrne piece, even though I knew you had picked one. I already made it my, the show graphics. So I was just like, I'm going to stick with it because
it's the Chuck Arnold effect.
The Chuck Arnold effect. Oh boy, that's saying something there. So what do we got? An Amazing Heroes cover, John Byrne.
There we go.
You get Alpha Flight. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I think anybody who loved Marvel comics, loved Alpha Flight when it came out. And it was like John Byrne going to do his own thing and it's his own Canadian heroes, and it's going to be freaking great. And and it was such a, it had such a dark kind of storyline on top of everything else. It was almost like not what we expected when we got our Alpha Flight. You were expecting just happy Canadians having a good time, yucking it up, battling the bad guys. And it was absolutely tragic and depressing.
Yeah.
So
and dark. So dark.
It really, really was. I haven't read that since it came out. I mean, thinking about it, so all these things are kind of hitting me as my 18-year-old self reading it and just being kind of in shock that Byrne would put us through that, because you get promo images like this where, the characters are kind of brooding, but you're thinking, Sasquatch is always happy. Guardian, guys are always happy. Puck, look at him, man. Everybody, you think that there's nothing but wine and roses and good times and beer pong and stuff, that they're just going to have a great time up there. And it wasn't anything like that. And there are other promo images that he drew that were all similar to this. I mean, hell, the cover to the first issue made you just feel like they're coming at you and having a good old time.
Yeah.
So
and all the characters are so messed up.
Yeah.
Such messed up people. Yeah. And like the stuff that the government was doing to Gamma Flight, and like, my God, what a dark book, Bill. You're so right. I guess, I don't know. It was so long ago when it, and I was so young when it came out. I think when it came out, I was probably like 7 or 8 years old. So I just thought the characters looked really cool. But I remember the last time I went through it was probably at least 10 years ago, and thinking at the time, like, wow, this was dark.
Yep. Yeah, and but that's what struck me. The image maybe just reminded me of my feelings about Alpha Flight. And now I've got to go back and read it because it's been that long. I haven't read it since I bought them off the shelf. But
don't drink while you read it. You'll be like,
no. Gosh. Anyway, yeah, that's. But anyway, so great piece of art. I mean, it reminds me of that that era, and. And again, a period of John Byrne stuff where he just had the creative freedom to do pretty much whatever the hell he wanted to, and this was what he chose to put his time into, and we were, at the end of the day, we were all better for it, and it was cool getting to see Byrne, craft stories the way he wanted to on characters that meant a lot to him. So, and this was, let me check to see, Edward E. I was actually emailing with Edward E. earlier today. So very nice. Love this piece. That's so I'm starting off with a banger piece. So then we go over to this was in Paul Pappas's gallery, Philip Tan. Again, there was actually like 3 pieces by Paul this week I could have picked, and they were all just really nice. This one just stands out. It's kind of like the anti torpedo artwork, but
yeah,
you know what I mean, in its own weird way, but kind of dividing the page up in a similar fashion. But yeah, I just like it. And Paul always gets some good stuff. I just thought this was really, really nice piece. I like Philip Tan. I think we I don't know. We think of Philip stuff, and I don't always think of it as inked pieces that will blow my mind. I like his pencils a lot, but this was just a nice one. So
this has got a real Sam Keith feel to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially, I mean, Venom's shoulders, his back, like that whole thing, and then I think the contrast between the like neatly dialed in city and then like the raw kind of gnarly looking Venom and the like the concrete or whatever he's holding on to is a fun contrast.
Nope. Well, this is a good one. Congrats to Paul for this one. Jiggy says, I need to hang out more with Paul next year at OX. I would assume Paul will be back. But speaking of Sam Keith, that's weird.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, quite. So this was, I didn't even read what it was from. It's a Fantagraphics portfolio piece from '92 by Sam Keith. I mean, so it was just something I wouldn't expect to see by Sam Keith. But I was really, even not knowing it was Sam Keith, I was really, I was taken by the image. I just thought it was, the thumbnail caught my eye. And when I went over and I read Keith and then scrolled down, I was just, wow, this just isn't what I was expecting. I love the thing that, other than, the tiger, I love the way the tall grass is rendered. It's like layered.
Awesome brushwork.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you can love all the stuff around it, all the foliage and the jungle undergrowth and stuff. But the way the grass is drawn was just like, I'm like, damn, this is a really cool piece. And
and the way the tiger is pushing through the grass, it really kind of accentuates the like striping pattern. It almost looks camouflage.
Yeah.
Which it is, which is cool.
Agreed. No, there's okay. They threw some images in from I guess what it was from. I guess so. Anyways, cool piece, and I like it a lot. And again, whose Kafka are we talking about? George Hodge. See, I don't even look. Mr. George Hodge, man, God, he's picked up a lot of nice pieces in the last 3 or 4 months. Congrats on that one. So next up, this is in Kin Wong's Calf Gallery. It's a Manx piece. I got to see this one, and it's just so much fun. You have Gambit, and it's just more. I mean, I love we all love Manix's stuff anyway. But the storytelling and some of the pieces he's done of late have just been really fun. It's Gambit and Rogue trying to have a little pleasant soiree in the danger room, and then the team just pulling a prank on them by throwing in some sentinels just to whip on them. I mean, how fun is that? I mean, I want this piece. This thing is wonderful. I mean, there should be prints made of this. I'd buy one.
This is a great T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, heck, look at this thing. This is. I mean, I love it even more now. So, Kin, congrats. You got a wonderful piece by Manix, and the guy can do no wrong. He's doing those riffs on 50s pulp covers of late. They're all coming out fantastic, and man, wow. So Kin got a great one. Next up, this was it was in Mickey's Calf Gallery. This is a Tom Grindberg Silver Surfer splash page. I just love the way this thing is inked. I mean, Bill Anderson inks on Grindberg. I mean, the Silver Surfer, it's just crazy. I mean, I don't think there's muscles where they're drawing that, but it don't matter because it's just the line work is so supple. And then you throw him on top of this crazy cityscape, what's going on here. And this is when you open this comic book, you're like, wow, you want to read the rest of this story. So I loved it for that. I feel like, this is a title page that had impact. And it's it's showing the surfer from the back, the top of his board. I mean, you'd think this would kind of be a boring, it's a boring approach, yet it's so dramatic and so well done.
Yeah, the quality of the illustration sells the like composition really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the, you know, to your point, there's so much like reflective surface stuff happening in the inking that it like on an initial pass, it looks like, well, is that a muscle? Is that a like what? But like, because we know what the Silver Surfer looks like, that's perfect.
Yeah. And it's funny, I didn't even see his reflection in the board until now. I mean,
Yeah.
look at that. And it's all skewed and Treadmore like almost.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy looking. So yeah, this thing is awesome. So Mickey, I don't know how long you've had this thing, but damn, this is a beauty. And if you've been holding out on this for like 10 years to post this, I'm upset because this is a great one.
I always loved that that volume of Silver Surfer's letterhead too. And I don't know if I've ever seen it not stacked, because it was stacked on the cover, but the fact that they like cut it apart and made it one line is different.
Yeah, this is a nice piece. And you know, it's cool to the ruled lines for the letterist you know, are still left in there. So it's just a neat piece to see overall. So good job, Nikki. Silver Surfer 106 title page. Then this was in Alberto's Calf Gallery. I mean, I think he's talked about this in a few places. Amazing Spider-Man 43, John Romita Jr., Scott Hanna. You know, for me, I face-off covers are always cool. I mean, it doesn't matter how they're done, because you can approach them in so many different ways. I like this one because the characters are just so stacked on top of one another that it's almost believable. And you know, this is, you know, usually when you have a face-off cover, you know, they're drawing the figures separately or something, or it just doesn't work right. But this one looks like this battle could actually happen, and it looks, and it's so grounded. You know, the inking is heavy on this. I don't pick a lot of John Romita Jr. stuff, as everybody knows, but I think, you know, Hannah just did a great job making this thing just feels like rock solid. This is
he's a big part of the layering that you're talking about for sure.
Yeah,
because there are so many like potential tangents on this, and he picks them all apart. Like Hannah picks them all apart.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at this. I mean, the more I'm looking at it, I love the simplicity in the inking approach by Hannah. Just the way he's like handled the shading on Spidey here. You know, it's just, dang.
Yeah, because that's a great point too, because this could be a lot busier than it is. And again, that's kind of Hannah.
Right. I mean, look, the same thing here, shading in the muscles. I mean, he's doing very minimal work here with this stuff, and it's, this is it. I mean, I'm liking it more and more. You did really well, Alberto. This is great.
He knows.
He does know. All right. Well, here, let me get my like on that one too. So, yeah, and is Cap on here somewhere? Did I miss him? No, I don't see him.
And he's in all of their hearts.
That's right. So I picked a Toth too. Wow, this is like
man,
three Toths on the show tonight. I don't know what's going to happen. The internet's going to break.
Look at this though.
But it was a Wonder Woman Underoos illustration of all things. But look at this thing. I mean, I was like, how can I not pick this thing? I mean, it's just crazy. You know, I mean,
who owns this? Do you mind real quick?
Well, it says Some Comic Art is the name of the gallery. Constant N. So Constant's a 19-year veteran of CAF, has an amazing collection of artwork on the site, and
might be getting an email from me.
Man, but look at that. I kind of love the fact that, you know, there's nothing volume. You know, it's really done for a marketing piece. You know, there's really no shading. There's no cross hatching to give depth or anything. This is it's all about presentation, really. I mean, even a rope. Look, I mean, it's you know, it doesn't look like rope, but
layered lines.
Layered lines, exactly. So I thought this was just too cool to not show.
That's gorgeous
piece. So it's got 9 comments on it, a fair number of reviews, but yeah, this is cool.
It's so clean, and it's so like, man, the anatomy is perfect, but it's exaggerated in like a superheroic way. Like, this makes me want to buy Wonder Woman Underoos, Bill. I don't know about you.
I don't know. Well, Marcus thinks I own him. So. Yeah, I don't know, but man, again, I just think this is an awesome piece, man. And
Great.
Robert Hack, good to see, man. And Robert Hack has been on CAF for a very long time himself, and posting his artwork, and it's been fantastic watching Robert's career grow and grow and grow. I mean, he's done a lot of awesome work for so many very fitting titles in the last 4 or 5 years, Robert. So congrats on all your success, man. And I'm glad you're watching the show tonight. Let's see here. I got 3 more pieces to look at, and this one was hard to, I didn't want, I've featured, Bissett pieces before with Tottleman inks. It's just hard to like not love them. I mean, I really, I was not a reader of Swamp Thing, as everybody knows, but now as an art collector, every time I see something by it, I kind of wish I read more, because I've read a little bit, but here to get Swamp Thing and Constantine in the same thing. I mean, it's I don't know. It's interesting to see. I just love the design. I mean, how do you make a swamp interesting over and over and over, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you have the thing. It's in silhouette. You have a silhouette here, and then a lot of you push them in the background. You go up close on them. There's just so it's great.
Those books are all, it's texture, and then to your point, like what do you black out, what do you feather, what do you like, all those kinds of things to like serve the image. And I think that's why like Wrightson, Bissett, Tottleben, who else? I don't know. Like, I think all the best Swamp Thing illustrators are the ones who are the most effective at illustrating textures, because that's what the scenery, that's what the character, whatever, it just has in spades.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is fantastic. I love it. And Francois Labs CAF Gallery, another 19-year veteran of CAF. Boy, that number is being repeated over and over again tonight.
Is this another Canadian too?
Yeah.
Are you guys doing new marketing to Canada?
I have no idea. It's that is interesting though, isn't it? I have seen more Canadians using CAF of late, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go check my Google Analytics after the show and see what's going on there. Oh boy! All right, so 2 more pieces to go here. This was a Mike White's CAF gallery, 77. Yeah, Brian Ballin. Convention sketch, from 77. How cool to see is that? I mean, I love it. The cross hatching is cool. I mean, I'm sure
the realism.
Yeah, look at it. The shadow on his eyeballs from his mask. Yep. I mean, how cool is that? I just saw it and I was like, there's no way I'm not going to feature this, because, just from the era and getting to see a piece by Brian, again, done traditionally. Wow, this is beautiful. And I didn't even read the story. I mean, there is no story. When I saw this, I loved it. Okay, what does that mean? Give me some more story, man.
Me too.
Come on, Mike. How did you find this piece? Where, I mean, maybe somebody in the chat knows where it was like listed for sale. I didn't see it, but yeah, I love this. I mean, because look at the ring is lighting his face, right? I mean, one side of his head is in shadow. You can't see his ear. I mean, dang it. I'm liking this thing even more. I'm looking at it.
And again, so like we were talking about textures on the last piece, like look at all the textures on this. And he's also using it to provide an additional layer of realism. But the messed up part is he's also using it to provide like tone, right? Because you can tell just by looking at this that the mask is quote unquote green, right? And it's on top of his face and like simple things like that illustrators kind of don't have to think about as much anymore, because there's all these tools available. But like back then, this is how you did it, and like layers and layers of cross hatching.
Yeah. No, well, this is great. Well, congrats, Mike. Give us a little bit more story though next time. That's all we ask.
Let us know, officer.
Yeah, that was his profession, right? I think he's retired.
I think he is retired.
So what do we got next and last? So that's right. Will's Protasio, Gotham Knights, Sal Regla's also he hasn't listed as penciler, but obviously inker. I just thought this piece was amazing. I mean, a lot of, I wasn't reading comics, during this period a whole lot. So Portasio's stuff, wasn't like a big thing for me, but so I like his work a lot, but I've been reading a lot where people are saying, that, after Lee, or even sometimes even more so than Lee, people liked Wils's work, and, kind of put him as like number 2 during that era of illustrators. And, I see something like this and I'm like, this is a well-drawn piece. It's dynamic. I think he's kind of taking some of the shortcuts that Jim Lee would take in his cityscapes and his character drawings. And it's like, yeah, I can see how they, kind of has that same kind of reverence to comic book fans and then OA collectors as well. But I just like this piece. I love how they integrated the title into this, just dropped it in like that. I mean, there's a lot of fun things going on in this piece. That, the darkness in the first panel to really kind of the light take in the second panel. I don't know. I just like this thing a lot.
When I see scenes like that thing in the second panel, I always think, when you read the script, did you think, God damn it? Like, I have to. So there's a fuel truck that's like lost a wheel, and the Riddler's on top of it, and the Batmobile is jumping over top of it, and they're caroling, or careening through the city streets. If I read that as an artist, I'd be like, God damn it. Okay. Yep. Okay, let's go.
We'll make this work, right?
And only in comics.
Yeah. But he did. I mean, I don't know. I think this is I'm looking at it more. I like it even more now than when I saw it earlier. I say that a lot about stuff, but
this is really fun. It's a fun page. I'm definitely not in the, Wils's number 2 or number 3 probably at Image, but we do well, not we, I can't say we. It's funny because my brother and I just last week were kind of reminiscing about Wetworks. And I kind of like forgot about that book, for lack of a better word. And then he was 10 years younger than me. And so he was reading all the stuff that like I kind of like left sitting out in my bedroom or, whatever. Yeah. And he was like, oh, that was like my favorite. I was like, I don't think anybody said that was their favorite Image book, but he loved it. Loved it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I forget where it's probably on like the one Facebook group, the main one for comic art collectors. But yeah, I think I've read that. I feel like I've read that twice in the last couple months, where somebody has said that, Wills was right up there, with Jim Lee as far as like, I mean, over anybody else. And I don't know. I mean, that's cool. I mean, he's had a very interesting career, and it's so nice to see him, drawing as much as he has been in the last couple of years. And
definitely.
I really need
gotten better.
I agree. I mean, I want to get him back on the show. We really, I think, when I interviewed him, I think our interview almost went 3 hours, but I felt like there was so much to talk about with him. So I'll maybe later in the year, I'll see if I can't get him to come back. I think he's working with Glenn maybe a little bit on his art sales right now. I feel like Glenn's at least put a few pieces out there. So yeah, that would, it'd be cool to get him back. But anyway, so there's our 20 picks for the night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed
Nicely
it.
Done.
Yeah, thank you. I think you did very well yourself as well. So yeah, we haven't talked in a while, but you got no trips planned, right? You're locked in for a while, unless we have a stand-in at some point.
I'm in it to win it.
Fantastic. All right, cool. Well, thank you as always, Chris. It's always a pleasure getting to hang out with you, and I love following your antics on Untapped. You certainly drink more beer than I do, or at least you get out more often than I do. But
maybe a bit of both. I drink a lot of beer, Bill. There's no two ways about it.
Oh man! All right. Well, listen. You enjoy the rest of your night and have a great weekend. And
you too, buddy.
We'll be at it again next week.
Bye, everybody.
See you, Chris. All right, everybody. We did it. We made it through another CAF update, and like I say, 13 more to go till we hit the number 200, which will be a lot of fun. There's so many things to talk about. I think every week coming, in the lead up to Comic Art Live too. And that's the weekend of the 11th and 12th of May. you know, we're going to start seeing a few more of those updates coming from CAF. I'd like to think that, you know, at some point we might be showing a little bit of the app to you, you know, maybe in some kind of screen recorded fashion, just to get everybody a little bit excited about it. I'm getting excited about it. And I never thought that, you know, I was always the anti-app guy. I can tell you that. Like, I don't need an app. But just some of the stuff that the developer, you know, has been showing me, I'm like, I think I might be able to enjoy browsing CAF on my phone once I see it actually work in the way that it's been set up. So yeah, we get lots of stuff coming up, lots of fun things I think that you're going to really appreciate hearing. And of course, we're going to be starting OAX sales, you know, probably in the next month too. So many good updates going on, lots of great stuff happening around CAF and our hobby. But you know, again, thank you for hanging out with me this evening. It was a CAF app will be the new TikTok. I don't think so, but it'll be a thing, I'm sure. Thank you, Rick Welch. Congratulations to everyone to making it. CAF reached 2 million posts in that time. It's pretty spectacular, I think, and not something that I think, you know, Maureen, Chris, and I would have ever expected, you know, or even thought about. You know, where would we be? We were just looking to get the first 100 down, right? And now we're past 2 million. That's pretty amazing. So, you know, again, kudos to everybody in the hobby who's helped make CAF so special and relevant all these years later. So, all right, everybody, you have a wonderful night. Don't forget, I'll be off tomorrow, but on Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be hanging out with Dexter Bynes again. We'll be looking at some art for sale, BSing with him a bit about whatever he's been working on in the last 7 months since the last time I hung out with him. And then after that, we got a busy week after that. But please, Saturday at 2, if you're free, tune in. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you again soon.